Testing 1, 2.
You can introduce Mark. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Hey, folks, welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G. And today we have a very special guest in the house, comedian Mr. Mark Mayhem. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Pleasure to have you in, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good to be here. Glad y'all are doing this thing, man. This is good. This is good for everybody here in the Valley. People, you told me a couple of stories. You've gone up north, and you kind of want to take this show on the road, and that's good. That's a good deal.
We're getting our feet wet, and we're trying to get all the technicalities figured out and everything. And once we can take it on the road, we plan to make this part of our act, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's part of it when you're trying to put together something like this is put enough into it, throw enough shit at the wall that even if the house burns down, you walk away going, I can build a better one next time.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it.
One of the biggest reasons as to me personally why I started doing this podcast type of thing is because I always wanted to do radio, man. I was ever since I was a kid, I wanted to radio's been my thing. And so I actually, real quick backdrop story. When I was in California, that was one of the reasons that I moved out there. I actually went to school. Shout out to the Musicians Institute in California.
Hey.
But I actually went to school out there, and I went to recording and engineering and production. Like I said, long story short, I came back because I had to help out my parents and everything. So I finished school, but I didn't finish paying them. So if you don't finish paying them, they kind of hold on to your shit.
Yeah, they're kind of like child support, but worse, man.
Yeah,
Bastards.
Yeah. So
No such thing as half credit.
Yeah.
So I actually applied with Univision before they turned into Entravision.
Entravision, yeah.
I applied with them, and I had 2 interviews. The guy really liked me and everything. But he told me straight out, he was Raza like us, and he was like, "Hey, dude, I like you and everything, and you really."
Was it Kike?
Era un morenito, gordito. I don't remember what his name was.
Ah, okay.
It was a morenito.
You just described like over half of the people that work there. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Maybe Angel Garcia.
Un morenito.
Okay.
And then he was like, yeah, man, you. It really sounds like you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. You showed me on the board. But I liked it, man, because he kept it real. He was like, "Look, man, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I know that if I hire you, you can do the job, no problem." But he said it's just these gringos up top. They want that piece of paper, man. So,
yeah, they do, and I hope you get it. I hope you do. You're talking about radio. Just a little bit of history about me. I graduated from back then it was UTPA, University of Texas Pan American, when the Bronx were actually cool. Before they changed the name to Caballeros or whatever.
What is it now?
Chupacabras or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, UTRGV Chupacabras.
Fuck them. That's all I have.
Vaqueros. There you go. And he was. But anyway, yeah, I'm an alumni. I graduated with a degree in criminal justice and actually got a minor in communication. Back then, there was no such thing as a little bit of a piece of rich history for you. There was no such thing as a minor or a major in communication. You couldn't do it. I didn't know that. I said, fuck it. I'm going to go in and just, try to get my degree or my minor in communication. So I did that. But at the time of my graduation, when it was time for me to graduate, of course, they sent me a letter saying, well, unfortunately, you have the amount of hours to graduate, but you have them all spread out. You have 10 in advertising, you have 6 in public relations and journalism here. They're all spread out. You need 130 some total in just one demographic or one genre. And I was like, well, I've been advised every other semester. You never told me this. So now I have to wait another year and spend more money, so that I can graduate after this. I said, no, that's not going to work for me. So I said, what do I have to do? Who do I have to talk to so that I can graduate with a degree in criminal justice, Bachelor of Science, and a minor in communication? Well, if you want to do that, you got to talk to the dean. So I wrote a letter to the dean. They responded back and said, with just enough time, and said, well, we're going to review your credentials. We're going to review your classes. You're telling us that you did this, you did that, whatever. And then once we get all that taken care of, we'll let you guys know. We have to go through a panel of judges, 5, and you got to get the majority of the votes. Because I did what I did, I stood up and I stood up for myself. This is where I learned how to fight from the very beginning. Never give up. And when I did that, I got a letter back. Each judge approved me, checked me, and said, you're going to graduate December of 2014, which is when I graduated. And I became the first student to graduate with a minor in communication and opened it up for everybody to now choose that as their major or minor.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
That's one thing you never hear about the higher education stuff. It's like, how do you think these degrees come about? Is somebody goes, I'm doing all of these things, they connect together under this.
Yeah.
Give me your goddamn accreditation.
Yeah. I mean, you're taking all my money to begin with, fuckers, I mean, shit. Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, it's just a money-making system. Now I tell a lot of people when they say, well, I want to go back to school. And I joke around with I fuck with them. It's, school's overrated, whatever. It's a lot of money. It really is. And, you were talking about it. It is truly. I started off as a probation officer in San Antonio. Okay. And when I was a probation officer in San Antonio, Bexar County, I actually looked into try to start doing comedy up there. I made some calls around River Center Comedy Club. Never got around to it. And then I transferred down here to Hidalgo County. That's when I met, you guys know him very well, Mario Superstar Salazar.
Yeah.
Him and I connected very well down here at Cino Rey. I went to go watch one of my favorite comedians that I just grew to love on the old version of Last Comic Standing. He went by the name of Dante. He came down here and performed. I got to meet him and talk to him. I looked at my buddy and I looked at that stage before the show started. I said, hey, bro, one of these days, I'm going to be up there on that stage.
Dante, big fella in New York, earring wearing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Used to work with, we were just talking about him, Patrice O'Neill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Dude, I love Black Phillip show, man. He's fucking great.
He does that. He has that one finisher where he's very good at impersonations, and he has that where Robert De Niro plays the the Wizard of Oz, and then he'll do an impersonation of or an impression of Robert De Niro, and then Doc Brown from Back to the Future will be like the lion, and it's just a crazy ending, crazy little finisher that he's got, man. But I loved when he did that. He did that on Last Comic Stand. He came down to Cino Rey, did it there, and then after that, that's when I approached Mario and I said, hey, I had a talent show there at the probation department of all places. And they asked me, bro, they said, hey, we're going to have a talent show. Do you want to be a part of it? And I go, yeah, I'd love to. I don't know what to do, though. I mean, what are you asking me to do? He goes, well, a lot of the guys here say you're funny. I don't know if maybe you want to come on, as a comedian, maybe do a quick 5, I was like, dude, I've never fucking done comedy in my life. He's like, yeah, but there's a $200, purse or prize. I was like, fucking sign me up. I'll think of some shit, I'll write something up and we'll figure it out. Long story short, I did it. I won first place. I think I tied with one of the supervisors. It was rigged. And, but I still got half of the purse. And then that's when I had everybody on the floor. I thought it was just going to be the officers there, but no, the judges came in. I think Leti Valadez from Channel 4 was one of the judges, and Johnny Hernandez, spokesperson of the DPS, was one of the judges. And it just turned out to be a big deal. And that's when I had the confidence. And that's when I went to Cino Rey, talk to Mario. And I think Nick Guerra was performing. He was still very young in his career. Very good friend of mine, graduated from Mac High. Pretty sure y'all have heard of him. Nick Guerra. He's now in LA.
Doing late night spots and all that.
Yeah.
Wearing suits and shit now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He looks great. He cut his hair short and, doesn't look like a female anymore. Graduated with his sister, Elsa. He also he went to Mac High as well. I think he was about 1 or 2 years after me. So I graduated in 98. I think he's like 99, 2000, right around there. But that's where he was performing. And I think he was just featuring at that time. He hadn't even started headlining yet. So a lot of these comics that have now, blown up over the years are now doing, phenomenal things.
Yeah.
And that's good, man. It's good to see.
That's as a comic, I think about it now, like that's one of the things I regret the most. The fact that I remember vividly, like when I started back in 08, and I regret when I started in 08, I regret because I left. I stopped doing it. Like a whole bunch of other shit got in the way. But now that I think about it, it wasn't shit that I could say it really pulled me away from, like, it's just honestly something that I really dropped the ball. I stopped doing it because I just, wanted to or whatever, or it was just kind of like, this isn't the way I went for this instead of that. It was one of those things. Now that I see it and I see 10 years later, that I try to jump back into it now, and I see all of these younger cats coming up, and it's like now there's so much. There's so much competition. There's so much different people that have a hand in it, which there's no problem. But I just think, like, if I would have stuck to it back then, I probably would have been in a different position now.
Well, you know what? That's one way to look at it. Me as, and you speak of young cats, you guys are young cats to me because, I've been doing comedy for 10 years, now. I think I started, again, we go back to the days of me being a probation officer with the county. I started like in 2009. We're 18, so almost just damn near December, as a matter of fact, will be 10 years. So I'm getting ready to approach my 10-year anniversary. So I've seen a lot of you, young cats come on now. You guys are doing great things with the podcast, stuff like that. There's a lot of familiar names that you've probably heard of around the Rio Grande Valley now. Sonia Trevino. I actually started before she did, and then she came on board. And before you knew it, Raymond Horta, before he blew up and got big, we were touring a lot together. We did, a lot of shows, Havana Nightclub. Mario, I said, I want to get on that stage. How do I do? Who's the guy to talk to? When I went to see the comedy show with Nick Guerra, he goes, well, I'm the guy you need to talk to. Pinche cocky motherfucker. Yeah, I'm the guy you need to talk to. Shut up, Mario. So I got his info, and I was like, when he called me about 2 weeks later, and I was like, oh, dude, yeah, I'm finally going to get up there. I got some stuff ready to go, and, I'll take the material that I use at the department, and I'll do it. I'm ready to go. He takes me to some fucking restaurant, Japanese restaurant in Rio Grande City of all places. And I'm like, where the fuck are we going? He goes, dude, we're going to Miyabi. And I'm like, the fuck is Miyabi? And he's like, well, that's where you're going to get started. Oh my God. Okay. So I was so nervous. My first set is a little corner. People are eating. We're doing the show. I'm stepping all over the mic. I'm doing my set. And I'm so nervous. I unplugged the mic in the middle of my set. I mean, talk about bombing, everybody bombs, we've all bombed, but that's where we started. We started doing that. Andy Hernandez, great guy. If you're listening, dude, my heart goes out to you. You did great things for us. He got us started on the path. But you got to start somewhere. And that's where we really earned our stripes as young comics growing up in the business. And, we did that for probably about a month steadily every Friday. He even took us on his, he had like a local radio station called Estrella up there, up there in Rio. And we went on the radio on air before, and then people showed up, small town. So a lot of people showed up, and it was a great turnout. Like every week I just started to improve, and I noticed, okay, I'm getting the feel of this. It's getting a lot better, but I mean, just the first couple of weeks were a struggle and a half. And I told Mario, I'm like, hey, when do I get on that stage at Cine El Rey? He's like, bro, it's going to take time. And I was like, all right, I'll go wherever. You just lead the path. I'll go wherever I need to go, and I'll get there, Yeah. So I think it was about 2 months that I was doing little shows here. Then we had a show at the Green Gate Lounge in Mercedes. That place don't even exist anymore. But there was a private party there. I was killing it. And then some drunken Valley chick showed up with tattoo, the chola, the tattoo eyebrows and hickeys all over, gordita. I'm in the middle of my set. She comes in and she's like, ya, nombre, ya, cállate los hocico, ponle la pinche música. And like I had the crowd on my side. And I'm like, okay, I don't know who the fuck that is. I was just turning back like that, like, who the hell's that? And I'm like, anyway, so I'm down at the store and I do this. Like, no, hombre, ya, cállate los hocico, ponle la pinche música. She came in with a bottle of Crown Royale too, right? And I'm like, hey, tia, like, shut up, I'll be with you in a little bit. That's my drunk tia. And like, and they're all kind of on my side. It's like, no, hombre, no soy tu pinche tia. Cállate los hocico y ponle la música. And I'm like, fuck, like, I didn't know what to do. This was my first time being heckled, okay? Like, really heckled. And usually, and you don't plan this shit. You just, you guys have.
And that's a legit heckle.
This is a legit heckle.
She ain't trying to be funny with you.
No, not at all. She's a pissed off heckler.
Yeah.
She really wants me to stop. And at a certain point, she was like, no, hombre, ya, cállate los hocico. And I'm like, hey, I got pissed off. I was like, will somebody do me a favor and stick something in her mouth because my zipper's stuck? And all the crowd was like, oh, yeah, like, hey, yeah, de la verga, shut the fuck up. And before you know it, she shut up. I finished my set. Thank you very much. Yeah, got a good applause. I go to the bar. She's like, I'm just kidding. You were really funny. She's like, you're kind of cute too. You want a shot? Okay. I'm like, you got enough hickeys on your neck, chick. You're good. You don't need me.
Never threaten unless you're willing to follow through.
Yeah. Turns out it is my tia. No.
Shit, where was I was going somewhere with that.
Now this was before you started doing the radio, right?
This was before before I started doing radio and before I went to Sino Rey. So after about our third, it's 2.5 months of doing, little shows here and there, finally I get to the big stage and I invite a lot of the officers from the probation department. Back then there was a guy named Cedric, big tall black dude who ran the show there. And I think he got fired that night because they accused him of stealing money or some shit like that. So, but he was very strict. He had all the, it's like, I'm going to give you all 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But if you hear this, that means you're done. You're bombing. Get the fuck off the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an asshole, but Cedric, if you're listening, I still love you, but you're an asshole. And, cool dude. Anyway, he gets fired that night. For whatever reason, Mario takes over. By this time, me and Mario were like this. And he had an apartment there, downtown area, close to Sino Rey. So we all went out there and hung out, and I was just excited. I was stoked. I bombed because he tapped me out at 2, and I didn't even get to finish my set.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because I brought a lot of people from the probation department, and they were like, wow, that wasn't the same set that you did when you were at, there at the department. What happened? I was like, I was just, rules, regulate, policies, whatever. They told me to tap out. I had to tap out. So I bombed that night at Sino Rey for the first time. And that was horrible. I mean, 2 minutes. Like, what can you do in 2 minutes,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my opening set, alone is 2 minutes,
Yeah.
That's about it. And then, of course, all the nerves too, and the butterflies, that kind of came into, fell into the equation as well.
Was this back when they were still doing the 2 a night?
This was actually before they did 2 a night. So after that, when Mario took over, probably about 4 to 6 months into my comedy career, that's when they started opening Wednesday and Friday night, like an encore, which was cool. And back then we used to do it. We started a run, which was the comics that were from up north would come down here. Some of the great names you've heard, probably worked with, Ponchi Herrera from El Paso, Willie Barcena. Great guys,
Ponche that I've never met him. I've never dealt with him, whatever.
Ponche's a beautiful human being, man.
Yeah.
He reached out to me on Facebook, and I didn't even know who. Look, I thought he was just a random dude because I hadn't looked at his profile, and he reached out to me in a message.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hey, dude, I saw your set. Yeah, great stuff, man." And real dick Punchy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know who you were. But he was like, great set, man, good shit. And I kind of put, yeah, man, thank you. But kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Then later, he did a show. Then I found out he was a comedian. Then I saw everybody commenting. Then I clicked on his profile and it was like, oh shit, he's a comedian, my bad. I was like, I think I just burned a bridge there.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's, just one of the fortunate, and the one thing I love is, I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of the guys that you all are getting to know. And once they get to know you by name and remember you, that's good because that means you made an impact on them, while you were the opening set or the host. I did a lot of hosting, and that's one thing that I loved about comedy is that when I knew I could make it as a host, I did a lot of that. They loved me. There was a period of time where Mario took some time off because he was in county, of course, his second home. And I kind of was running, some of the things at Sino Rey for him, helping out as much as I could and booking and stuff like that. And of course, hosting a lot of the shows during that time. And I had the pleasure of working with Richard Villa out of LA, California. He's on Netflix. He does a Spanish. His comedy is very funny in Spanish.
Yeah.
Very funny guy. And Steve Trevino, you guys probably heard the name Steve Trevino, who's come down a lot of times. He's made it very big, has his own Netflix show now. But these are like before they had all that.
Yeah.
And I got I was privileged enough to and honored. Thank you guys, to be and have been invited to go tour with them. So we did like a 2-3 day show like in Marble Falls. They took us to the Corpus Christi, the American Bank of America Center, or the off of Ocean Drive, the big arena. We didn't actually perform in the big arena. It was like not the Celine Auditorium. It was like the green room, or like the little smaller section. But still a packed house. We had about 500-600 people.
Yeah.
And I hosted that show, and that was just the start of my getting out there, and a lot of great experience, a lot of great memories. And of course, these guys continued and just continue to get big, and they're, my hat's off to them, man. My hat's off to them because they're doing really good. Like you, I took some time off. I had to because I got into radio, and I loved radio. I was with 107.9 Mix FM through Entravisión.
Yeah.
So I would do that for 7 years. The comedy actually opened the door for me to get into radio. So once that happened, my career just kind of took off, and I was still able to do, local shows here, but it was very hard for me to travel and get out there because of radio. Radio's the thing with that is you're kind of like a nurse, or doctor. You're always on call, man. Yeah. Somebody calls in or whatever, you got to be ready to go. And if you don't, somebody's going to take your spot, and if they're better than you, they ain't going to call you back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to be there. And if you want to legit take a vacation, you got to submit your paperwork in and say, these are the days I'm not going to be here. Just let you know. Yeah. You got to do it within 2 weeks notice, like any other job.
Not to shit on terrestrial radio, but frankly, I have no bridges to burn unless you want to reach out, and we'll give the information at the end. But we've had this conversation before because, Freddy's talked about you were going to school for radio, right? Yeah. And
good.
You start talking about podcasts and stuff and just the availability of being able to do stuff. And I'm really surprised that a lot more of the terrestrial radio hasn't kind of adopted the remote, I guess, model, man. Because, we can take this and go fucking anywhere.
Well, that's the one thing about radio is that it's such a dying industry because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
Not to knock this at all. It's just...
We're the biggest... This is radio's biggest enemy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't want us. People like us... The podcasting, all of that, they don't want that because, especially the FCC, because till right now, the FCC cannot regulate the podcast because it's a very we're not legitimate enough, basically.
Right.
Till one point, it's gonna grow to a point where I feel that they are gonna regulate us in some way. But I think we're still...
Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. I was actually having that conversation a while back with somebody about the idea of kind of socialism. And the FCC is a clear... that is at some point they went, we got to nationalize the airwaves because, you dumb motherfuckers might be blocking out a signal that's vital to, infrastructure or something. And there's really not that argument when it comes to internet broadcasts or anything like that because it's we're not fucking with anybody's, we're not eating off of anybody's plate. We're not taking a bit of the bandwidth that would otherwise be
especially
used.
If you're, going up against a 100,000 watt station, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get anywhere near that area.
Well, I think that's the part that pisses a lot of people off when you talk about stuff like this being annoying to terrestrial radio is it's like, you can broadcast at whatever wattage you want.
Absolutely.
That doesn't fuck with our signal at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Now, the other thing with this podcasting thing, man, is that the way society is going, especially like with the millennials and the younger generation, like I was actually talking to Sean about this. Like everybody today is so content hungry. They just want something. And the second thing to that is that they want something now. Like they want it now, and they want to have the ability to, like, if I don't want to listen to you now, they want to be able to put it aside, but they want to be able to come back whenever they want.
Right.
They like all this like TV listings and we'll be on at 8, catch us at 7. Like I feel that's gonna go away because we're starting to get into like on demand world. Yeah. That's where we're going. So that's why I was telling Sean, that's why I think you and I both doing this shit like early is I think we really do need to stick to it because it's something that's growing and eventually this is what it's gonna be.
Oh, it's not a matter of eventually. It's already here. It's happening now, and that's why, it's good that you guys are doing what you all are doing right now because, like I said, radio's been a dying industry for years, and now it's dead. It's dead because of we live in a digital world, my friend, and it's just really hard to this is I think this is just brilliant. This is brilliant, and I mean you're I was used to listening to or being heard of, by, the station that we were with was a market of over 330,000 people valley-wide. Yeah. Here you can, 3 million plus. It's heard around the world, wherever. If you have a simple, I don't know the mechanical side of things as far as the connections and Comcast and all that stuff, but
that's what easier for us.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know that either. So
yeah, I just call it the blue, the red, the white, the
Exactly.
yellow. RCAs, man, or whatever. But yeah, you have all those right connections, man.
So let me ask you this from your background and knowledge in radio. Perfect example right now. You're live. Well, I mean, this won't be live when it goes out, but
yeah.
From your radio expertise, what is the best advice that you would apply to a podcast? From your radio expertise.
From my radio expertise,
what would you apply to a podcast?
Everything that I didn't get to apply in radio, I would just freely love to throw it on a show like this.
So what was that? Like anything from marketing to talk to anything you couldn't
to throw out like one little example of Mark Mayhem for a while was doing that, low frequency broadcast out of McAllen and then taking the interviews he was doing and putting them online. And to be honest, at first it's, hey, great, man, you're already doing the radio program, so take the audio and do something else with it where you get maybe a broader market. But also at some point when he started having the comics on, you can hear them just kind of like editing themselves in their head. I can't put a fuck there. I can't. I can't say that.
Yeah. And that's the one thing too is, you had to be very careful about what you said, how you said, the way you said it, your tone of voice. I mean, there were just a lot of, things.
Tone of voice, really?
And not tone of voice, but, just your energy or, whatever.
So you had to be like 100 all the time.
Yeah. And thankfully nothing really ever slipped out. I have some stories where some of my other my co-hosts would pronounce a name and it was like, come in me when it was actually, come one day or whatever, like it was, I don't know where they got that shit from, but and it would just be like, oops. And, but the good thing is that they had the abilities, they had a dump button. So if you accidentally cuss, because when you're talking, it is live, but there's a 30-second delay.
Oh.
So when there's a 30-second delay, if something comes out like, hey, good afternoon, Rio Grande Valley. Hope you guys are having a wonderful you hit the button and you dump it, or a cough. There's a cough button and that delays about 3 seconds. And the dump button will delay about 6 seconds. So it'll kind of just skip that over if you catch it in time.
If you don't, you're fucked.
If you don't, you're fucked. Yeah. I mean, you'll see that flashing, blinking light. That's what we call the hotline. And that's when the big boss man's calling you and just bitching you out. Like, what the fuck did you say? What are you doing? And, I could have really thrown him under the bus because we can actually, we could have potted him up and pushed live, and I could have fucked his world up as much as he cussed, But of course, never did that. He was a great boss, just very strict and.
Well, as Freddy mentioned, we're not live at the moment, but at some point we would kind of like to get this on a live stream
on
as many platforms as possible. But at that point, definitely stick a 30-second delay on there, because all right, we didn't get to that at the beginning, but we do have buyer's remorse. If anything, you start telling a story and you go, oops, shouldn't have told that one.
Yeah.
We'll go out and we'll go back and clip it out.
Which is kind of what we were talking about earlier that I asked you if there's anything that we can't talk about or say or anything. Which a lot of the people here that come through, we haven't really had to edit anything except for me. I accidentally mentioned where I work and then what I did on my off time, and I was like, oh shit.
I'm unemployed right now, so I don't give a fuck. Nobody can fuck with me.
No bridges to burn.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Fire me? I'm already fired.
So since we're talking about you being fired, I had a question. You were running the avenue downtown, man. What happened there? Or if you can,
I was, we got laid off from radio back in December. We're going on a year now, and it was a wave of just a lot of the morning show people. A lot of the familiar names that y'all remember, like Big Al and Charlie. Alex and Meredy in the morning. E-Rock, Erico, good friends of mine, good buddies of mine. Nobody deserved it, but like you said, corporate came in and they played the bad guys, and they did what they had to do. And it's understandable. But what really sucks is the timing was just horrible. I mean, it was December 15th. It was a Friday. 10 days before Christmas. Like, have a fucking heart, man. Fire. You want to fire me on December 26th? That's fine. But God, let me enjoy my Christmas.
Wait till April 1st. Make a fun time out of it.
Yeah, no shit, really. But that happened. A lot of people, it's hard to recover from something like that. Especially, I did radio for almost 7 years. So I imagine how hard it was for a lot of these veterans that had been there 20 plus, and then not even knowing if they are able to continue working anywhere else or if anything's available.
Now, my understanding with that was a lot of it, there wasn't even a kind of like, hey guys, this might be happening. It was just like,
it was what we got the email like literally, God, it was Thursday afternoon evening. And then Friday morning we had a report at 10 a.m. and
Jesus, man,
I was hungover as fuck. I walked in there late. And they're all calling me like, "Hey, we're getting ready to start. Where are you?" And I was like, "I already know what the fuck's gonna happen. I don't give a shit." So I walked in. I just didn't know if I was gonna be one of the ones to be let go or not because I was only part time. I was making full time dollars, because I was being used a lot as far as doing like the live broadcasts and stuff like that. I was able to kind of get that underneath my wing pretty good, pretty solid. I'm a very fast learner. I'm very quick. I listen, and then I kind of take little pieces of different people. That are good, and then I kind of create my own little, deal. People would tell me like, hey, we're live over here at Charlie Clark Nissan. Come on down tonight. $149 a month on the brand new. That's just all from listening to the commercials over and over again. It's from doing all the broadcasts over and over again. So I was able to just do it off the top of my head, and people be like, "How the fuck do you do that?" I was like, "Well, it's just implanted in my brain, man. I've been doing it for long enough." Yeah.
Right. It's kind of go back to what Freddie had asked earlier, man. Was there anything you like really like? You were like, man, we should be doing this. Like, even with the limitations that you had working with radio, was there something where you went like, hey guys, I think you're missing an opportunity here to actually be doing something that's a little more, say, engaging with the audience, or just would be more fucking entertaining than what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is that. When you go in as a part-timer, the whole goal of going into radio is to get a primetime spot. Okay, you get your full-time show, the morning show. That's ultimately what you're aiming for. When you start
so everybody wants to be in the morning.
Maybe not everybody wants to be there, but if you want to make the big-time bucks, that's where you gotta...
That's what I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Like, if you want to be somebody in radio, you want to be in the mornings. What you're saying?
Want to be in the mornings? Absolutely.
Is there a particular reason, or because I don't know how radio works?
Well, that's when you can actually kind of let go, be yourself. You can have your own little talk show in the morning.
So it wouldn't be at night. So night is not.
We were able to kind of gauge a way because it's radio is always the one cardinal rule of radio is more music, less talk. Because people don't want to tune into radio and it's radio. They want to hear music. They don't want to hear us, people fucking talking. And that's the one thing that the boss would emphasize in all of us.
That's why we're here.
That's exactly why we're here. Yeah, we ain't gonna play no fucking music. I'll sing for you. Ain't gonna come out very good.
Well, dude, I remember listening to Big Al and Charlie on the way to high school in the morning, man. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even, I couldn't fucking tell you what tracks were in play on a regular basis, but just this, that was back when they were doing all the goofy little skits, Shirley Q Liquor and all those little, and it was like, yeah, man, talk more.
Yeah. Oh, and depending on where you live, by the time when you got in your car, you turn on the radio to the point that you got out of your car to get to go to class, they were still talking.
Yeah.
And that's what they got paid for. And that was a lot of the biggest not problem, but I guess one of the biggest things that I heard from a lot of the listeners is like, yeah, they talk forever. Oh my God. Well, it's a talk show. That's why it's a morning fucking talk show. That's what they get paid to do. I mean, we're going to play music in between, but when you're part-time and you're trying to, it's more of your ability. Let's stick to the basics, Hey, Mix FM, that was new stuff by Fozzy. It's called Mine. Coming up next, we got Loud Luxury, new stuff called Body, man. It's really cool. It's climbing the charts on the billboards, and you're going to hear it next right here on Mix Up, whatever.
Yeah.
And you go to break and that's it. 10 seconds. You're going over 20 seconds of talking,
and you get
light
dinged.
is fucking the boss. Hey, can you shut the fuck up and play music
and move on?
I mean, these are the things behind the scenes.
But the reason for that, and again, I don't know a lot about radio. You can correct me if I'm wrong. The little bit that I learned was because radio is run. The only reason radio exists is because of advertising. Advertising keeps radio running.
That's
so basically,
exactly right.
Advertisers. They're like, we're paying for this spot. This is what you're gonna say. This is when you're gonna say.
Right.
This is for how long. If you go over, That's why they come down.
Exactly.
Like
you got to plan by a certain spot, certain time. Yeah, if you're not airing their commercials by 3:30, 4 p.m., they're already calling. Now, a lot of them listen, a lot of them don't, but the bigger clients, they're on top of it. They're kind of, they're already calling the AEs or the salespeople that sold them the packages, and then they're wondering, hey, it's 3:53. My commercial was supposed to air at 3:30. Your DJ's talking. I'm not hearing anything about our location and our
Let me
store.
ask you about that. That kind of goes to what I was asking about. I mean, was there anything that you thought could have been more engaging with the audience, but also engaging with, that being that middleman between the advertisers and the people that want to sell you shit and the people they want to sell them to? I mean, was there any? Do you see any way that they could be a little more? I mean, I don't know if you listen to podcasts on a regular basis, but everybody's kind of trying their own thing. Yeah. Some people will do them in the beginning, some people do them at the end. Sometimes listen to someone like Adam Carolla, who came from the terrestrial radio, and he's sticking them in the middle of the show, and he's basically laying it out in almost the same format. Yeah. But I mean, I just got to imagine there's a better way to do it, because at this point I can't listen to radio, man. I mean, if I turn it on and there's a song playing, I mean, shit. I don't donate to NPR, but frankly, I'd rather listen to them sometimes, because at least they don't interrupt their shit.
Yeah. When I was there, I don't know if I'll go ahead and throw their name out. I mean, I don't have to do Metro PCS. They're big down here. They're big, nationwide. Okay, and I think they've merged with T-Mobile. But anyway, they were smart. So what they did was they bought out like a Friday. It was called, and they would do it like maybe once a month, once every other month, and it was called the Metro PCS Takeover. Yeah. So basically, any other client that was scheduled to air, they pretty much put money down and says nobody else is gonna just me. That's all you're talking about. Metro PCS all day,
monopolizing the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, and it was they had a very good solid point behind that as well. Menos comerciales, más música. Which means fewer commercials or less commercials, more music. Yeah, and people loved that. Because they wanted to hear music. So it was maybe one commercial, and then we had our liners that we had to read by a certain time. They'd go inside, they'd deck the studio with all their, flyers and balloons, and it was like a big old party, except no food. That fucking sucked. But, now when we'd go do the broadcast, they always had a party going on, man. The live broadcasts out there, pizza and food and snacks, and made it very family friendly, and just always good times at Metro, man. I loved doing their broadcasts, but they would do that. And that was. We had no choice. We had no choice but to stick to that format, for the entire day. Yeah. And if you missed one liner, you had to talk about, 60 seconds for a whole minute. You had to read a scripted verse, okay, of everything. Come on in today, buy one, get one phone free, this and that, and that was smart. Pretty sure they paid out their fucking pockets, but a lot of money, man. Because I mean, you're pissing off a lot of clients too. Yeah, right. That's the way it works.
But was it worth it in the end for the business they're getting?
Right.
I mean, exactly. That's always the important thing. I mean, it's great as the person in the middle. You want their money, but you want them to get their money back,
right? As well, exactly. And that's why we tell them, hey, we're going to take a short break. Got to pay the bills, but we'll be right back with more music. Because when you say we pay the bills, that means we're going to play commercials. Not that we want to. What's the first thing that people do when a commercial comes on?
They
change the station. Yeah. That's exactly right. And the more there's a lot of psychology in radio. You have no idea. I mean, I can sit here and tell you the deepest, darkest shit that goes on in radio. It's fucking insane. All right? Smoke a joint right now, because it's going to get fucking real.
Yes, that's what we want. We want real.
Lose track of time. Get our watch hours up. Go ahead.
The more you would say, do not change that station. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. What's the first fucking thing people are going to do? They're going to touch that dial. They're going to change it. So you don't tell them that. There's just a lot of psychology, a lot of subliminal.
So don't say what you really want them to do.
Right.
I got you.
Change it up a little bit. I dare you to change the station, but if you do, you're going to miss out. But go for it. You know, I would
Do it.
You don't say that, but that's kind of
No,
what you
I
think.
got
You know what I mean?
got you.
I always thought that was kind of a bit of a not a Freudian slip, but a bit of a telling moment when it's like, hey guys, I'm sorry we have to do this, and then you get some DJs who's like, hey, we got some great folks want to sell you some shit coming up. I mean, they wouldn't, you don't put it that way, but
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, hey, we got some great advertisers coming up. Dig on these folks, and then we'll be back with some music.
Some of the things that we would do to keep the audience is, I'll tell you what, I want to do a giveaway right now for Pitbull coming down to the State Farm Arena. You know, I'm going to do a giveaway, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take caller number 9. But you got to tell me what the last commercial is. And if you can identify what the last commercial was, caller number 9, I'm going to send you in a guest to go see Pitbull at the State Farm Arena. Now, what did I just do there?
You gamify it, man. You give them a little bit of some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some blood in the game almost, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of psychology.
But-
so what does that do?
But what do you do when you Sean, we ain't got shit to give? We just
Hey, make something up. I don't give a fuck. I'll dig to the bottom of the barrel, man. If it's, just some basketball tickets or Toros tickets, my boss would tell me, he's like, he goes, hey, was it necessary to have that girl scream and yell and piss a lot of people off? And I'm like, no, but that was pretty good energy, boss. And he's like, they're fucking Toros tickets. Nobody fucking wants those, It's like, well, I mean, I'm an energetic, DJ. I try to keep the energy alive. I get it, but sorry, fuck.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
So let me ask you this. Because me and Sean had been talking a lot about advertising and sponsors and shit like that. At the moment, and I'll keep it real with you. At the moment, like I was telling Sean, the only thing I really want is to get enough sponsors at least to pay for a fucking hosting. I mean, like that's all I want for now. So what I'm saying is, what I was going to ask you, we have about, if I'm not mistaken, we have about 23 faithful listeners on YouTube. So
and that's
awesome.
That's for the video. We've probably got another
video,
20 on for the audio.
Another 20 on audio, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, when, again, from your experience, when would it be good? At what number, what gauge would it be good to start shopping for a sponsor?
You can do it now. I mean, sometimes the best thing. Do it now. Fuck yeah, why not? Do it now. I mean,
you
the
think
good
they
thing
would
is,
go for it if we
absolutely, because what they want to do is they want to hear their name. They want to hear a name and a good presenter who presents it well.
Does it matter how big? Like you wouldn't advise for me to go to Budweiser?
Well, the thing is with this is my because I do have a lot of experience in as a promoter as well, and I'll tell you what, working in radio, I've worked with a lot of great promoters, and I've worked with a lot of shitty promoters. Okay, probably more shitty than great. There's only a selective few names I can throw out there that are great. And whenever I had questions or concerns, hell, they even helped me sponsor a show one time too, out of the kindness of their heart. So, my hats off to you, fucking Pájaro Promotions. Love you guys. Raul Garcia, man, very good friend of mine. All right, but the good thing is plant the seed now. Don't go after these big names like that are nationwide, because
like Budweiser.
L&F distributors. Okay, I mean, can you get them to sponsor? Absolutely. The only problem with that is that you have to. Takes more time because they're corporate. It's a corporation. Yeah. So the process of getting something like that is it's very difficult. You got to know when their fiscal year for budget comes in and what time and dates to go and actually get a sponsor like that. Not to say that they won't touch us right now, but in reality, probably no fucking way. We're too small. But once they start seeing us blow up, and you guys blow up. Absolutely, shit, man. I mean,
that was kind of where I was going with the whole thing about it. Was there any thought that you had about engaging not only with the audience more, but with the advertisers? Because I do get the sense from a lot of places. There are a lot of businesses down here that have been doing for years. You can't even find them on Google Maps because they haven't. Yeah. It's like they don't see the value in going through that.
Right. Yeah. Which, go through a lot of family-owned businesses, small little local Zamora's restaurant.
I have one that I told Sean that I really want to go after because, well, one, I know the owner. I've kept in contact with the owner, and I feel that they would help us out. But I don't want to. My thing is, like I've told you before, I've told you off camera and everything.
Yeah.
I don't like to half-ass shit. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to go there with like a half-ass presentation, a half-ass done promotion package. And I'm talking about the Protein Shop. Shout out to the Protein Shop if y'all ever listen.
They're big.
Yeah. So I actually I've spoken with the owner, and I buy shit from there all the time. So and they're small. They're big, but they're small.
Another good thing too is if you have a connection with somebody like that, is say, hey, now that I'm here, is there anybody else that you can refer me to that you know on a personal level that I can go speak to? Because if I gain your business, I'm pretty confident that I can gain the business of your fellow or sister business or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd love to have all of you guys listen, tune in, and watch us grow together. So absolutely, man, go after it, go get it. Never take no for an answer. Put everything down on paper. They always want to have emails. Send me an email. Send me an email. Send me an email. Send me this. Send me that. Send it to them and then follow up. That's always a good thing to do. You got to follow up.
I have a question on that, on the following up part, because
be a nuisance. You got to be a fucking nuisance, man.
Well, hold on.
It's true.
because I've been. Like I said, I used to do with another friend way back in the day. We used to do music. So we when I did music, we got to a point, I'm not gonna lie, we got to a point where we had like a manager without the title because we didn't have the money to pay him, but he was doing all the shit. Yeah. So we had that. So after a while, people wanted to open for us, like the up and coming ones. They were like, "Hey, can we open?" So on and so forth, and we did. But there were so many that we would actually have them come through an email, like you said,
Yeah.
So my question is, like, how you're saying be persistent, like go after it or whatever. But I'm telling you from my personal experience, it got to a point to where sometimes it was annoying. It was because it was like we would get it so much from like repeated people that it was like, well, fuck, dude, like it's kind of annoying. So my question is, how much is it annoying, and like where do you draw the line?
Well,
where do you draw the harassment line is what I'm saying.
At a certain point, you'll have the ones that respond to you right away. It's either yes or no. And if they tell you no, hey, okay, no problem. Thank you for your time. Thank them. Maybe hopefully we can do some business together in the future.
One piece of advice I got was the no is often an opportunity to kind of go, okay, can you tell me why this isn't interesting to you, and how could we perhaps make this a little more
enticing for you?
Yes,
I think the great. I forget his name. I know he came out on the movie Tommy Boy. He was the dad of Chris Farley.
Did he?
Yeah. And I love his business ethic when they would tell him no, and he goes, "Why say no when it feels so good to say yes?" So sometimes when he pitched little shit like that, life is a movie with me. But I'll quote movies, all fucking day, all night, man. And a lot of the time I got so much useless information of movie, lines and quotes and stuff like that, and it pisses me off. So, this is one of my pet peeves. If I hear you quote a movie, you better get it to the T, because if not, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Well, that's a good transition to kind of something I'd like to get into is the grand narrative is, or not even the grand narrative, but just the narrative. If we can agree on a narrative, then at least lets us have a conversation with context. And part of the narrative down here when it comes to doing business is like, oh, well, it's just the Valley. And as you said, man, 300,000 listeners is not anything to sneeze at.
Oh, hell no.
No, hell no.
There's a way more people that are probably not listening on a regular basis, but they're sitting in a restaurant, or they're sitting in, barber shop or something, and they're listening to this stuff in the background.
Exactly. And that's where we when I would come on the air, I would always say, thank you so much for allowing us into your homes, your businesses, your vehicles, because you're out there barbecuing right now. Somebody's doing something, right. And the more creative you get about it, the more people are like, hey, yeah, we are barbecuing and we are listening to you. So thank you. You make and you always. Here's another little piece of advice for you, especially if you do get the job with the radio, which I wish you all the luck in the world, Freddie. I hope you get it. Your the way you speak is very good. You also have a very unique voice. Sean and I sound too much alike. We have the deep voice.
No,
sexy.
you and Sean, and I'm not ashamed to say this. Before I say this, no homo, but you two have that fucking 1-900 voice. Like, hey, what are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
You know what I'm saying? So,
I'll touch you wherever you want.
yeah. Man.
I think I just touched you emotionally. Sean's got that sexy, like I just, smoke 100 fucking packs of cigarettes a day.
I told Sean that one of my friends that listens to us. Shout out to Lucy. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lucy.
Lucy, she said, she was like, "Hey, who's that guy?" And I was like, well, there's only one other guy, And he was like, "Yeah, your co-host." And I was like, "Oh, it's Sean." He's like, "Oh, tell him when you see him again, tell him that he has a sexy voice." And I was like, "Well, I don't know," but and I told him, I was like, "Hey, my friend told me to tell you." And Sean was just,
qualify that shit.
Yeah.
Sean was just like, "Okay."
That's good stuff, man. A lot of the times we try to I've always been told I sound, when I was on the air, like, dude, you sound like you're 6 feet tall. I'm like, I'm fucking 5'5". I'm my heart's 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall, but some of us are fortunate to have, but too many personalities I think have the voices like that. Yeah. Yours is a little higher, more what's the word? Distinguish. We can distinguish your voice out of the two.
Yeah.
People might be confused when they hear Sean and I. But then they hear you like, oh, that's Freddie. He's
exactly.
He's a little bit higher. So
let's be honest, you got way more energy behind anything you're saying than I do, man.
But I think that those are your years behind radio speaking. Like,
I was watching a football game last night, the Cowboys Cardinals game, and
you, Sean.
I can't remember any of the fucking announcers anymore, man. But it was
Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah,
Al Michaels, little short bald guy.
Oh no, that was Joe Buck.
I don't care. I honestly don't care. I was watching the game because it was on. I was having some barbecue with some friends, but like he's a little guy and he's standing there with the former coach, former player, and I can't remember the other guy on the end, and he's kind of like he's trying. You can see him going like trying to get that announcer cadence down, and the little dude on the end, man. Again, he's probably like 5'5", and he's just. Hey guys, welcome to the blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's like that's professional.
That's professional.
It's like
you could just hand him a piece of paper and he wouldn't even break cadence.
It's like
I've been doing it all his life.
That joke going back to your, you keep saying I'm 5'5", and your voice makes it sound taller. Or whatever. Yeah. That joke that Cat Williams.
I've been the same height since 5th grade. Like I'm not going anywhere. Yeah.
That joke that Cat Williams says, he's like, "Hey man, when I met DMX, I don't know why I thought that this dude was 7 feet tall. I met this guy, he's literally 1 inch taller than me." Yeah. But it's one of those your voice, especially when people have never seen you at all before and they've only heard you, that's when you sometimes can throw them off. Like you meet them and like, oh shit, that's the guy at the radio. That's what I was listening to.
Well, you see, and because of that, like I said, even after things, and this happened right before the layoff of the radio, but I actually had a buddy of mine, John Cannon, who's now works, he does production and stuff like that, broadcast for Ed Calchelsa. Okay, so he brought me in right toward the end of the season, the football season, and actually started commentating for Ed Calchelsa, for the Yellow Jackets. And then after that, I got to do the last 3 games with him, and he's great. John Cannon's great. I came in as just like a co-host, so it was kind of like a John Madden / the late Pat Summerall when they used to, commentate together. Those are the two that really stick out in my head that just became great commentators for football. You never forget the names, and that's kind of where John and I, we were kind of like we feel like he's like the John Madden, I'm like the Pat Summerall. His voice is higher, mine's lower. Although Madden was the big guy, he had the kind of the higher voice. Pat Summerall is like the Timon. He's got the lower deep voice. But they were great together. Him and I have developed a good chemistry together. So a lot of it is chemistry. Who do you have chemistry with? You two together right now, y'all got great chemistry, and that's good. Yeah. That's why I think this show is going to blow up because of.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here first.
Absolutely.
No, and it's funny that you say that because that kind of happened to me, going back to the whole voice thing, but me with my disability. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people didn't know As crazy as that may fucking sound, but a lot of people didn't know that I was disabled, right?
Yeah.
So true story. This shit happened. What the second time that I performed at PJ Pies on McCall. Shout out to PJ Pies. I performed there. Whatever.
That's just making me hungry right now.
They do have great pies, bro, and the carrot cake is awesome.
Oh.
I'm not being paid for that. I'm telling you legit.
That's free advertisement right there.
Yeah, but I did an open mic there, and then this guy came up to me and he's like, "Holy shit, dude, you're Freddy. I seen you before," but this guy he's like, "Holy shit, man, and you actually do walk like that. Like it's really." I thought it was like part of your show or some shit. So and he was the first dude ever to actually legitimately ask me for an autograph. I never signed a fucking autograph. So he was like, "Can I have your autograph?" So I was like, yeah, sure. Oh, and then he said, that's when he told me, he was like, "Holy shit, but you actually do walk like that, man. I thought it was part of your show or something." So
and that's good. That's good that you can use that to your advantage as a comedian.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Sometimes
if I were you, I'd use it all the time. Let me tell you about a great comic goes by the name of Blue. He was one of the last comics standing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Josh Blue.
Josh Blue.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask. I'm sorry. No, is that kind of the similar disability that is?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, what is his polio?
No, it's cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy. Yes.
His is he has the mild one.
Yes.
I have the intermediate, and then there's a third one where like you're really fucked up. You can't do anything.
Okay. And then he took it to the next level. He made fun of it. That's what comedy's all about. You make fun of yourself, man.
Just to throw this in here real quick, and I forget the guy's name, but a buddy of mine was showing it to me. I don't usually watch America's Got Talent because I think it's a garbage show. Just that whole format.
I fucking love it, Sean.
That show made me hate Howie Mandel. I didn't think that was possible.
I love Howie.
Just some of the bullshit interactions, man. But I can't remember the guy's name, but he's got Tourette's, and it's you saw him, and he's like, if you see me doing this, I'm not winking at you trying to set up a threesome or something like that. It's like
exactly. You use it, man. Use it to. That's the best advice I can give you for somebody so young in your comedy career. Take that shit to the next level, bro, because that is. And
I do, man. Like I do. How can I explain it? I do use it, and something that I've noticed, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. Like something that I notice is that I have to use it, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Because I've only done it twice. I went on stage, and I went into my set, but when I went into the set, I didn't talk about my disability. I went into the regular shit that I had written or whatever, but I bombed, dude. Like it was quiet. They were just there. They look lost.
Yeah.
So what I learned was I didn't point out the elephant in the room per se. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that I noticed that when I don't point out my disability, like within, I have 45 seconds to point out my disability. If I don't point out my disability within 45 seconds of me starting, I'm going to lose the crowd. Because like after a while, they just kind of start looking at me and they're like, does he know that he has that? Or am I the only one noticing it? And then they start going into that shit and they forget completely what the fuck I'm saying.
What I think would really get you a good start is when you come up, when they introduce you, grab the mic stand and just fuck with it. Like, just, drop it or something, and then just be like, sorry, I'm not drunk, I promise you.
Well, see, that's the first punchline. The set that I have a new set that I need to try out.
Yeah.
Sean, we need to make it to the open mic tomorrow because I have a new set. I have a new set that I'm working on right now, but the set that I'm running with now, that's exactly how awesome. How I started. My first punchline is I'm not drunk. I'm just chemically unbalanced.
There you go.
So, and then I take it from there.
Yes.
But when I start that way, I kind of bring the audience in. let them know, like, hey, Dick, it's okay to make fun of me for now.
Yeah.
Just don't do it when I'm off the stage.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I let them know. So
That's
when
good.
I let them know, then that eases the crowd. But I've tried it the other way. And I've bombed twice, but I've noticed that it's because of that. People start staring at me and they're like,
Well-
and especially when I perform at a bar,
Yeah.
they're like, kind of like, did he get too drunk? I want whatever he's having, you know.
Did you ever catch any of those shows with when Christian Oviedo had his arm in a sling for a while? I forget what he'd done to his wrist, fallen off a skateboard or something like that, and
While jerking off.
yeah, well, the thing was, he had I knew his wrist was healed, and yet he came in for a couple of shows with the sling on, and it's like, what do you? And he goes, oh, I'm going to use it in the set. I'm like, okay. So he gets up there, he's doing about maybe 5 or 6 minutes. He's doing an 8-minute set, so it's like, okay, what are you?
About the Cowboys or something like that.
I forget what the joke was, but it's something where he goes, oh, hold on, I got to switch this real quick. And he just switches which arm he's using the sling in and then just keeps going with his set. And it's just one of those things where it's like, if the audience is paying attention, it's a beautiful, just little slide it in there.
Yeah.
It's like you said, at a certain point, they're going, why isn't he talking about it? Why isn't he talking about it?
It's the elephant in the room. But I've told Sean, I'm the type of comic, dude. My comedy can get really dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'll make you, if comedy is not at your core, it'll make you feel uncomfortable. And I've told Sean, I've made people feel uncomfortable with me with the simplest shit. Like, people have gotten offended because I used the word retarded. And I told Sean that it happened at Yerberia. This lady came up to me and she was real offended because I used the word retarded. And then this is what pissed me off, Mark. This is what pissed me off. That she told me this. She was like, I feel offended because you use the word retarded. I have a sister that's mentally challenged, and it made me feel uncomfortable. That's the first thing that pissed me off. First of all, ma'am, you're not the one with the problem. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
It's your sister. She's not even here.
Exactly.
Second thing is, the second thing that pissed me off was that she told me, dude, she was like, I think you need to stop using that word. I was like, who the fuck are you to tell me what I need to stop?
Did she tell you this during the show, or
no?
like
She told me this.
after?
She caught me before I left.
Let me tell you something that one of the great comedians that I've ever worked with, and by the way, if she gets wind of this, Carolyn Picard out of Louisiana. She's like the grandma of comedy. She's come down to Sino Ray so many times. I've had the pleasure and the honor of working with her a lot. Probably the best closure I've ever heard in the world. Best disclaimer closure, whatever you want to call it. But the best way closure I've ever heard from any comic, anybody. At the very end of her show, after she just killed and destroyed, and she's been doing it for years. I think she's doing, cruises now. I mean, that's how, good she is. But at the very end of her show, she said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Carolyn Picard. And if I offended anyone here tonight, fuck you. It's a comedy show.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Yeah. No. And I hadn't heard that, but that is awesome. One of the greats that I've heard, and he did it beautifully. Mm-hmm. And that line, that punchline, because that's how I took it, made me laugh literally for 10 minutes after he was done. Theo Hewley on one of his specials.
Oh, yeah.
At the very end, he said he was walking off and he came back to the mic and he said, look, I know some shit. I know I said some shit up here that might have offended some of y'all. I might have come off too rough. So if I said something that might have offended you or made you feel in a certain way uncomfortable, I want to tell you sincerely from the bottom of my heart, fuck you if you can't take a joke. Good night. And he just took off.
That's awesome.
That was beautiful.
Oh, and something like that, it's a twist because you're expecting them to actually be sincere, and at the very end they just kind of throw it at you at the last minute. And what a great way to get off the stage or something like that. That will get you a standing ovation each and every time. If you can come up with a good little, a good closure like that, good disclaimer, mesh it all in, create your own out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're solid, for
Yeah.
something like that.
I don't remember what comic I was listening to, but there was some set they were doing, bumfuck nowhere or something, and somebody starts, "Dad, you shouldn't be blah blah," and he goes, "How much did you pay for the ticket?" "Paid $25." He goes, "Here's $25 right now. Get the fuck out."
of here. That's awesome. You see, and they need to know what they're getting themselves into. I mean, it's comedy and not
exactly.
That's the one thing I love about this job is that you literally can get away with murder
Pretty much
as a comedian.
Well, time out.
I mean, think about the way. I mean, this gets talked about a lot, but the way it's used to describe. I killed, I murdered, I slaughtered that audience. Man.
Yeah. Now, hold on. I'm gonna play devil's advocate just real quick on that because under this administration, not really, man. Look at how many people we've seen lose their jobs, lose certain shit, lose endorsements because of something they said.
Yeah, but look how much the conversation is getting started, man. I've seen a lot of like liberal presenters, commenters and stuff like sticking up for people like Alex Jones or Roseanne, not so much because I mean that was kind of one of those things where.
Yeah, that was too much. That was you went right in and.
Oh well, even so, man, that's tame as fuck compared to.
I don't give a shit. She's coming back with a new show called The Connor. So guess what? She found a loophole. Fuck you to that network. I'm coming on board for this one, and all we got to do is change the name a little bit. I'm coming back, bitch. You know what I mean?
Oh, are they bringing her on to that one?
Yeah. You haven't heard of that?
No, I knew they were doing the Connors, but I thought
it's going to be the same crew. That's what they're working on anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But where one door closes, so shall another one open, and the less,
And first of all, you're not going to hurt Roseanne Barr.
Oh,
she doesn't need you.
No, Roseanne's she's one of the greatest, man.
So
I love her.
So same thing. Tagging along what both of y'all are saying, and with the story about the retarded thing, same thing. And I haven't told you this. I was going to tell you this, but I was offered to do a show, and this came out of nowhere from a friend, the one in San Antonio, the one that, he called me again. And he was like, "Hey man, you did great that day, whatever. I was wondering if you could do another show, but this one's gonna be in Corpus.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be a 15-minute set, and I don't mind fucking saying. I thought about it, but I don't mind fucking saying it. It's gonna be in Corpus, 15-minute set. We'll pay you $100.
Nice,
right?
Yeah.
So and I was like, cool, man. I'm there. Show me.
Shit, for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
where's it gonna be at? I'll go.
So he was like,
I'll take your skin and dresses you, Freddy.
He was like, give me your information, and this is where I knew shit was real. He was like, because you have to sign some release forms. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So I was like, I'm getting paid for real. Yeah. So whatever,
Tax purposes.
They send the information, whatever. I read it over. It didn't really say anything. It said casual, formal, whatever, but it didn't say anything in detail as far as material. Yeah. So I sent it back. He was like, everything looks good, whatever, so on and so forth. They just hit me 2 days ago on Saturday, I think it was, in the middle of the day or whatever. And the promoter hit me and he was like, "Hey man, we had to send you some information, whatever." Well, I was like, "Yeah man, I've never really worked with y'all. I'm excited to do so, whatever, so on and so forth." And then he told me, "Well, I don't know, have you talked to so and so?" And he mentioned a name, somebody I'd never even heard of it. I was like, no, but what's going on? And then he's like, "Do you have a manager?" And I was like, no, I do everything. It's me. I'm the comic, And then
you're a one-man show.
Yeah, I was like, I can do whatever you need me to do.
Yeah, that's good.
And then he was like, "Well, because I had to send them a video, so I sent them the video, the only fucking recorded performance that I have at LA.
Yeah. That one you got up on YouTube.
Yeah. Right. So then he saw it or whatever, and he was like, so I just wanted to tell you some things." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So then
here we go.
Okay, I was like, "Okay."
Let the critiquing.
Well, what's going on, man? Well, we'd like to have you on and everything, but the only thing I want to let you know is that you can't talk about gender, you can't talk about politics, and you can't talk about race. So I wanted to say, I swear to God, I didn't say it. This is what I wanted to say. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? An instrumental or some shit?
Yeah.
What am I going to talk about?
Fuck
So
your unicorn hermaphroditic fucking.
So
Jew.
he's like, you can't do that. So he was like, so we would like to have you on, but we would like for you to. He used a big word.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but he was like, we would like to have you on, but we would like for you to be a little bit more
Clean.
Use that word. No, it wasn't even clean. But I understood.
Yeah.
Basically, what he was saying was, we want to have you, but
Discreet.
we want you to be less of you. And I told him, I was like, look, man, without due respect, but what you're paying for is me.
Right.
You're paying for me, and I'm bringing my honesty. I can't be less of me because
I mean, I can get that if you're gonna, go do a show at a school or something like that.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. From what I understand, is that it was at a public place, but I think they were holding a private party at that public place.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? So I kind of get it. And I told the guy, look, dude, if this is a clean show, I don't have a problem cleaning up my act as far as the cussing goes.
Right.
I will tone it down a lot on the cussing.
Yeah.
But as far as me because when I go up there, dude, I express me. I don't have improv. I don't do characters. I'm telling you me, and I'm coming with my material.
Yeah.
So in a sense, they were telling me, be less of you. We want you, but we want you to be less of you when you get here. And so I told them, I was like, with all due respect, man, you can keep your $100. We'll call it a day.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Dr. Evil. Let's turn it down a notch, okay?
So
Well, I tell you what, I get it. I understand. I mean, there's obviously any comic with common sense has to know if you're going to go do a show at a bar, or a venue that's meant for comedy, stuff like that. Yeah, you can let go. You can let loose. Some promoters, I mean, when you're at a bar, a club or a venue like that, you should be free to say and do whatever you want. That's just the nature of things as a comic. Now, if you're going to go do a daytime show at STC, for a bunch of students, obviously, you gotta clean it up.
Yeah.
And make it a little more PG-13. I think the more professional, when it comes to, your, like Raymond Horta, he's probably got to clean his stuff up a lot more because he's getting into like the networks. He's getting at that level where, you can't talk about race. You can't talk about religion. You're going to go here. You're going to go there. You're going to be on TV. You can't do it. Netflix, I think that's a perfect place to do it. You say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Hell, I was watching The Ranch and I didn't realize it's a sitcom and they say the word fuck a lot.
Yeah, they
drink a lot.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every episode. That's Netflix. I love it. That's awesome. That's where you want to go. That's where you want to go because that's where you can. They are probably in the same mentality that we are, where they realize that a long time ago we had this right under the Bill of Rights called freedom of speech. Is it the Bill of Rights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech, and I think it was like number 1 or number 2.
We're not historians, people. We're comedians. We apologize if we don't have our history right.
Honestly, that's a conversation that's kind of being had more in the social forum now because it's like, well, that doesn't cover businesses, and it's like that is true.
Does.
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't, man. That's the whole thing with.
Cover businesses as far as what though?
Like if say with YouTube and someone like Alex Jones, where it's like, yeah, we don't want you saying what you're saying on our platform, and it's like, okay.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I get you. I misunderstood you. I got you.
What happened?
Honestly,
what happened to freedom of speech?
That falls more under like the consumer protection thing, where it's like, okay, you're using a service, and their terms of service are so fucking vague that they can choose what they want to apply, and it's like, okay, now that's some bullshit that maybe we can have a different conversation about.
But then. Like,
and if you want to, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you want to blow up your show and build your listening audience from 23 to 2,300, this is a good fucking way to do it because here we can talk about whatever the fuck we want.
What way? What?
Anyway, we can express.
I thought he was about to drop the gem there. Like, this is how you do it, and I was like,
oh no, I don't
was
have
listening to that shit. Like,
I don't have the right formula, but I mean, if you want a good foundation, it falls back to freedom of speech. Let's talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly.
Nobody can tell us shit.
That's exactly
okay. To kind of shoot back to the whole FCC thing, my understanding was always after it's after 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
You can actually cuss on radio.
Well, not just cuss, but you can
talk about whatever. Yeah, that's actually
and that stopped being utilized a long while back, man.
Oh shit, yeah, it did. I mean, those are back in the days when you can actually smoke in the booth, and play, your tracks, and you were switching records and shit out like that.
Shout out to Tom Petty, man, the last DJ.
Yeah.
I told Sean, so the way we want to work this podcast, I was like, look, dude, if we really want to grow, because there's 1,000,001 of these that you can turn on and listen to.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not entertaining, they're going to move on to the next one. That's the reality of it. So I told Sean, what do you have to do? What do we have to do to make ourselves relevant? Is we have to be different. Yeah. We have to be different. So I want to toss this idea to you just to see what you think of it, and so on. A difference that me and Sean came up with, and more Sean, I'm not going to take his credit, it was his idea, is that bringing, because we interview comics, musicians, rappers, anybody with any type of artistic talent.
Sure.
So we thought what we have planned is, I know the camera can't view behind us, but back here somewhere, we wanted to set up.
There are two naked hookers just waiting to get. Sorry,
they're the next guests.
Yeah. So we have we would want to set up something like a sound booth type of thing.
Yeah.
To where a band could come and play live, and we would record it with a camera. We record it, and then we also stream that live as it's happening. And that was his idea, and it kind of
absolutely
the bulb went off, and I was like, dude, I don't think there's any other podcast that
sky's the limit, man.
By the way, just to put a little bit of a fire under some of you motherfuckers out there, I know there's some fucking musicians listening to this shit. Get your shit together and get in touch with us.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. That's what I love about starting the platform of what you guys are doing. Right now, it's freedom of speech. We can say whatever the fuck we want. Nobody can tell us shit. If you want to listen, great. If you don't, change the fucking station. I don't give a fuck. We're just being real with you right now. This is the way it is. At a certain point.
The other thing is, man, since it's a permanent format, you can just fast forward. It's like, I don't like this topic. Yeah. Fast forward a little bit. Exactly. We're probably talking about something else.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And then they fast forward and it's like, hey, my penis is 2 inches small.
And then they start listening
from the ground.
Again.
And now this is the way it goes. We talk about whatever we want. All of a sudden, we get an audience. People start listening. Okay, and then all of a sudden, people are seeing it. It's just blowing up. It's going viral. All of a sudden, now we have to realize where we have to shut up and be quiet, because now we see, money coming in, and when we see money coming in, that's where we have to kind of say, okay,
exactly.
We got to shut up now. We can't say this and say that
because of the sponsors,
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Like, but I get it. Look, I don't mind. How can I say this? Okay.
Well, even that, man, I think that just to jump in there real quick, Freddie, that goes to what I was saying earlier about really understanding and trying to utilize that relationship of being the middleman between the advertisers and the audience is, what I mean? It's respect what the fuck we're doing. We're not just some billboard you can slap your shit on. It's like, if you don't like our shit, fuck you. No, you don't get creative notes.
Yeah.
We will
look here. Boom, bitch.
We will say your ad, and we are more than happy to do so. But don't.
Oh yeah. When my wallet is fat again, and I see a lot of green in there, I'll shut the fuck up. I'm just gonna say what you want me to say, and that's where my freedom of speech goes away.
Yeah.
I don't care, because.
But even then, I mean, I think it's a good idea to set your ground rules. Shit, I think it's Dave Chappelle that had that little bit of advice that he said his dad gave him, where it's like, no, now, when you're not making any money, set your limit now. Right. What is your cutoff point now? What are the lines you're not willing to cross? And then fucking stick to that shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're doing that and you're getting success along the way, then you don't have to worry about compromising yourself at some point.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. Very true.
Agreed on. And
sorry, Freddie, you were saying.
That I was just gonna tag on to what Mark was saying. Like, if you don't want me to go back to the sponsorship shit, Like, if you don't want me to say something or whatever, like, give me a big enough check that's
Yeah.
gonna make me shut up.
Exactly.
Then we can call it a day. You know?
Money
Until
talks
then-
and bullshit walks.
Yeah. Until then, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying retarded.
I think Danny DeVito said it the best in that movie Twins. Oh yeah? Well, money talks and bullshit walks. And then of course Arnold came in, he's like, how can bullshit walk? I don't get it.
Well, I know we reference Rogan a lot on this, but I mean, let's be honest, man. He's one of those guys that's kind of setting models for
Yeah.
people to move forward with. And he does the audio podcasts, and he has probably about 10 minutes worth of advertisements up front. And then you go to the YouTube page, and they just start the fucking show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I want to see you guys get. I want to see you guys get there.
Us too.
It's going to happen, man. You guys are doing really good things, man. And I appreciate you guys having me on. I've mentioned a lot of some of the comics that I've, worked with in the past that are now big, and going, and working with some comics that led me to the ones that were already big. It's just been a pleasure, man. Paradise, the old Paradise in Westaco. It's now called Ice House.
You know what? I always heard the horror stories of some of those.
Oh my
shows.
God.
The only time I was ever there was that the one last year where Jeff Ross showed up, and he did about 5 or 6 minutes on stage, and they started pulling some shit. And he went, "Okay, night, folks."
Wow.
I mean, he was doing a guest set. He wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they were pulling shit.
Let me tell you this. When I started, Miyabi was like, in Rio Grande City, was a fucking saint compared to Paradise. All right. Because you had the bikers, I have nothing against bikers. They're just loud and rowdy, and, they
Beautiful people.
Oh, absolutely. And the crowds there, every headliner told me this as soon as we were done. And I did 4 years at Paradise. I never looked forward to it, but the owner loved me. The owner said, he loved a few. He was very strict. If he liked you, he kept you. If he didn't like you, he said, don't bring him back again. Don't bring her back again. I don't want him back. I don't want her back. Very, very good, dear friend of mine, man. Robert Pedales, previous owner of Ice House. Now it's called Ice House, but back when it was Paradise. But that is where you earn your fucking stripes. Every headliner that came down from up north told me, they would say, dude, man, if you can make it here in this particular venue, you can fucking make it anywhere. And it was so true, but you had to find things that were relatable to the shit that goes on in Westaco. By the way, shout out to all my Westaco peeps, man. Love the city, love the town, great cocaine, good stuff. And for some particular reason in that bathroom, it was like allergy season every night.
Every time.
Every time.
You got
I don't know if the pollen or the mold was just really high.
I think it was that Colombian cold that people got. What I'm saying? They contracted.
Yeah.
Bathroom attendant gives you a spritz of the hand sanitizer and a napkin.
A napkin, yeah. Oh, man, good stuff. But that was a very tough venue. But I've had the pleasure when I was going back to this. I just finished hosting a show that night there at Paradise, and y'all, I don't know if y'all got to meet him, the late Ray Lopez, who passed away. I'm pretty sure you've heard stories about him.
Is that who we were talking about?
He was a really big guy with glasses that made a huge impact in the comedy world in each one of our lives. We brought him in. And he just blew up, man. He blew up, not physically. He was already there physically, but he just blew up big time, man. He did a lot of what you're doing, promoting himself and, getting himself out, networking with a lot of these comics. Everything that, some people like me weren't able to do because of my, radio job, stuff like that. I wanted to do it, but I was like, dude, if I can do it, go, please do it because you're funny. Didn't start off quite that strong, but man, he showed up and I was blown away by his ability to just show up and just go at it, time in and time out. Anyway, he was there with us in Westaco, and I think I was like finishing up the show, and when I got off the stage, Ray Lopez looks at me and goes, "Hey dude, there's Carlos Mencia." And I'm like, shut the fuck. We all knew he was coming down. We just didn't know who the promoter was, but we were just trying to figure out the fuck is Carlos Mencia doing here, right? And so Ray goes, "Look, that's him." And I look and I'm like, "Holy shit, it's Carlos Mencia." So we all go there and we're like, "Hey, what's up, brother?" Just kind of treating him like a human being, not
Yeah.
sucking his dick or anything. And be like, oh my God, it's Carlos Mencia. Like, no, we're just like, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? And I was, well, what brings you over here to Paradise? He goes, oh, well, I heard there was a comedy show. He goes, I'm doing a show at the convention center. I go, you know what? We're actually talking about it before the show. We're trying to figure out who the, promoter was. Because I wanted free tickets. I wanted to just, suck somebody's dick so I could go see you perform. And he was like, well, actually, I'm doing the radio show with Clear Channel with a B104 or what's that, Wild 104.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's right there in Westaco. That's where the main station is. So he came in. He goes, were you the host of the show? I go, yeah, that was me. And he goes, dude, that was a pretty good set. How long have you been doing comedy? And at that time, I think I'd only been doing about 4. It was like 2013 maybe. So about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I'd been doing comedy. And he goes, well, I'm performing this Saturday or Sunday, I think it was. And I was like, yeah, well, where? He goes, you want to open up for me? And I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, no, dude, I'm serious, bro. I loved your set. Just a little bit that I caught, but you sound like pretty legit. I mean, you've been doing it long enough. He goes, if you're confident, yeah. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'd love to, So he goes, all right, here's my number. We took pictures. We hung out, drank a little bit. Very cool guy. Real cool guy. A lot of these comedians, man. I mean,
He didn't steal your shit?
You know what? If he did, fuck it. That's complimenting, man. Take it, dude. I don't give a shit, man. That's funny. But yeah, that was, and I always said when I'd pass by the convention center, I said one day, just I did a scene. I said I'm going to perform there. And sure enough, the opportunity arose. I got to perform at the McAllen Convention Center with Carlos Mencia in front of a crowd of 2,000 people or more. And he gave me 10 minutes. Mo was his manager.
Shit, that's fucking bad.
And when I was about to get off, I go, before I get out of here, and then I just, through my peripherals, I see Carlos open the curtain. He goes, I'm like, holy shit. I go, okay, I get a little more time. So he gave me like 15, 20, I think I was on there for about 20 minutes. Yeah. And just, I love big crowds like that because when you pull off a good joke, the roar of the laughter is so amazing. Yeah, you actually have time to shut up and think of your next joke.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was just so amazing. One of my best shows I ever had was with Carlos Mencia. So, Carlos, if you get wind of this, dude, thank you. Thank you for, just don't steal my shit.
Carlos, I was joking about stealing shit.
Much love, brother. As I've said on this show before, the first stand-up comedian I ever got to saw live was Carlos Mencia. But hey, man, we acknowledge facts on this show. But no, we brought this up before, man. A lot of people note this, and it's not so much local comics that are aware of it, but it's like the fact that we get to our home club is a theater. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
And it's
one of the best theaters in the nation.
Well, you hear comics talk about the idea of that acoustic, having to wait for the sound to kind of, the laugh to travel and come back to you. It's a different thing. So, I mean, right off the bat, it's like you go from open mics to the Ray, main stage, and it's like, okay, a bit of a different beast.
Yeah.
But you get that muscle.
Exactly. And then when you go, from Cena, love Cena, everyone has talked great about it. And then they all, every comic that I've ever worked with that was, big then, bigger now, or just even today that are in that process of getting bigger, have all been on that stage and have just said nothing but just phenomenal things about it. I've been on it so many times. I can't stay away from it. It's just so, we're truly blessed and honored to have a venue like that. Like Cena Ray. Another good one was Havana Nightclub. Actually, that was more intimate. Yeah, very intimate lighting and just.
I never went when it was a comedy show.
That's kind of what I meant about you get that muscle out of the way first, where it's like, okay, the fear of the room isn't quite there. So when you get in, and Freddy, you've kind of noted this when you do the shows up, San Antonio or Austin, it's like that smaller room, that more intimate thing.
Yeah, man.
It's like, oh, okay, cool. We can just move this along like a normal conversation.
Exactly. One of my awesome experience there in Havana was we did I guess like a competition, and the winner, based on applause and judges at Havana Nightclub, was going to open up for Eddie. What's his last name?
Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Where?
Bar Event Center. So Mario, that's when Josh Cabasa from San Antonio, he came down, and it was between, out of all the comics that performed, it came down to Mario, Josh, and myself. we were the top 3, so we kind of did a second round. And the promoter at that time, Gavin, a good buddy of mine, he's up in LA now partying with AC Slater and Mario Lopez. And I mean, he's just doing wonderful things in California. Gavin Navarro, man, if you're tuned in, dude, what's up, brother? Bring me up there. I'm ready to go. And he was putting that show together. He brought Eddie Griffin down, and the promoter couldn't decide. It was so tight. He just brought all 3 of us to go open up for Eddie Griffin. So we all had about 7 minutes, in between. And that was that was my first big show, is at the Far Event Center, 3,000 plus people. Amazing experience. And that's where the rush, and as a comic, when you start off in a fucking Japanese restaurant to a club to, the big stage of Cine El Rey, and all of a sudden you're at a convention center.
Yeah.
I mean, the next thing you're thinking is arena, you know? I did this, you climb, it's like, I just can't wait to get to that point.
Yeah.
And if you had the mentality.
Even Dave Chappelle, he said himself that after 30 years in the game, he told Jimmy Kimmel, he was like, there is nothing, the feeling from performing in a club to the arena,
oh man,
there is no, like, you can't compare. Like, the feeling is different than when the whole room laughs. That laughter just comes back to you, and it
consumes
hits you in the face.
Yeah.
And then he said, but when you eat shit on stage, that shit comes right back at you.
Yeah.
You can hear the person in the last row rustling around. And like,
yeah. It's a crazy experience. And, from Eddie Griffin, it went to, the old Civic Center. Had the honor of opening up for the great Pablo Francisco, master impressionist. And, and I love doing a lot of voices too, man. I love, I'm trying to do something in my set. I've done a couple of them where you take characters from different movies, like Christopher Walken, and imagine the great Christopher Walken, like working at a McDonald's, you know what I mean? And you want a double meat, double cheese, it's on the way, you would never see him do that, but that's how you kind of do it. If you're good at the voices, sometimes it's not even the voice, it's just the mannerisms. If your mannerisms are good, people are gonna know, dude, he's doing Christopher Walken.
Like the one that kills me all the time with that impersonation, and he has it like dead on, is Jay Farrow's Obama impersonation. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
he has that shit like
down
dead on, dude.
Yeah, a lot of and that's the thing too, like I would do a lot of that on the radio. I would do like Mike Tyson and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then it got to the point where my boss would be like, hey, can you stop doing Arnold Schwarzenegger? No, nobody even fucking knows who that is. And I started to realize, fuck, we're that old. Like, he's old, I'm older, nobody knows who the fuck Arnold Schwarzenegger is anymore. I can't do that one. So you have to kind of look at now, like, who can we impersonate now, and start working on those.
So I wanted to bring this in, man, because you told me before we got started, you told me that you wanted to let something out the bag.
I did.
I asked if it was cocaine. You said
absolutely.
No, so that's why I didn't touch it anymore. But I'm kidding. but no, you wanted.
That's what he said.
So you wanted to.
I do. And I figured it was about time to do this.
Look, man. If you haven't done it with your parents yet, and you don't want to come out to your family, you know what I'm saying? This is a good way. We don't judge,
I have had a threesome with my mom and dad when I was a child. I slept right in the middle, and that was a good family fun threesomes.
Hold on, give me a second to work up my shocked face.
I recently auditioned for America's Got Talent, and it turns out January 11th, I will be auditioning for America's Got Talent for season 13. I believe it's 13 or 14.
Wow.
14. Yeah, so I'm gonna go give it a shot, man. And I figured it's time.
Fuck you, Sean. Basically, is what he's saying.
I will tell Howie Mandel you said fuck him.
No, I didn't say fuck him. I just said the show had made me hate him a little bit. That's Bobby's World's still my jam, but
well, you know what? If you didn't like it, then you're gonna love it now, because you're gonna see me up there. And I just as I said it before, the way I said one day I'm gonna end up on that stage at Cine El Rey, as I did to the Far Event Center and to the McAllen Convention Center. I haven't done an arena yet, but I think this is my next goal: is the grandest stage of them all in Hollywood or Vegas or wherever they do it. And I don't care to win the whole thing. I really don't want to win it. I don't. If you notice, a lot of the winners, I mean, what do they fucking do? It's the fifth runners up and the fourth runners up that get contacted and get notified.
And I'm not saying he was funny, because it's a whole different conversation. But I'm going with what you're saying. Like Ralphie May, if I'm not mistaken, came from.
He may have done America's Got Talent, but he did like the first or second season of what was that show they had on NBC?
Last Comic Standing.
Last Comic Standing. There you go.
I'm confused. Wait, no, I'm confusing it then. I was talking about Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
My bad. Wrong one. Sorry.
Well, no, a lot of the great comedians, some of the, I know Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, he was Last Comic Standing. But some of them have come out of America's Got Talent too, believe it or not. I don't know if they've won, the first grand prize is $1 million.
Who was the one that went to America's Got Talent 3 times and bombed? Like, it didn't make, but he's big now. There's one.
Josh Blue, believe it or not, was was Last Comic Standing. He did win.
Though.
Yeah,
he won.
Yeah, he did win. That's right. Some comics have. Right now. There's a very funny girl, the fat girl, Vicky.
Yes, I saw her. Oh fuck, dude, she's
good.
And it's funny because the first set I saw from her, she goes out there and she's fucking boom, boom, boom. Yeah. She's hitting them, and then as soon as the set's over, you just see her kind of go, "Oh shit, I'm on national television."
Yeah. And she made it to they're in the live rounds right now, so they've passed their auditions. They've gone through 1, 2, and 3.
So just think about it this way, Mark. Even if you don't win, you know something that you are gonna take away from that. And I'm pretty sure you are, when you continue with your comedy career, you're gonna take away the fans. That you're gonna bring home fans.
Oh yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'd love to do. Even if you don't
win, and I see it the same way. If I ever, decide to go that route and have the opportunity and go there, same thing. Even if I don't win, the way I see it is, I know I'm gonna bring back fans, and at the end of the day, like, the fan base is all I need. Because,
by the way, just to clarify a little bit, it's not like. Just to show that I'm an observant person, I know that there's an audience of that show that is listening to it to disagree with the judges. Like, they're going, "Fuck these guys! That guy's fucking good."
Oh yeah.
So
hell, I'm one of them too, because I'm just kind of like, how did you get that German transvestite who doesn't even really have a good voice, and you let go of the Human Fountain? I love them. Human Fountain, they're great. Or even the Leo from Israel, Leo's. He was really good. He did really not even magic, but the way he sold it was like, I'm going to bring magic alive. He had the Israeli accent. He's like, no tricks, no gimmicks, just moving objects with telekinesis. And then he would he'd get like a trash can. Okay, and then he would just have the music going. It was all choreographed, and it was one of those where you step on it and it opens up, but he would just lift his hands up and the lid is opening up, and there's really it's comedy, he's making fun of magic in a way, and that's just.
You ever watch The Amazing Jonathan back in the day?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Oh, if you ever get a chance. You ever caught him?
No.
He would come out with the bandana and shit, and he'd be doing like card tricks. It was complete. I mean, he was an actual like stage magician. He could do the shit, but he was also a comedian. So
and that's
it's performance.
It's performance and versatility, man. It's what it's all about. Stuff like that. My strength is probably like my impressions. Like, I would love to. Come up with something where I can, knock what's his face, the other judge, Simon Cowell, and be like, his voice alone it just stands out. And if I can exaggerate it into a joke, I think I can, probably, sweep them off their feet or something. Do something.
And you're, just to confirm, I know it's the elephant in the room, but you're going for your comedy set, right?
Absolutely.
And then, so my next question was going to be, have you seen, this sucks, man, because I never had the chance to see you perform. We were supposed to perform together on that one bill, and you got canceled.
Yes.
And then on the other bill, we were supposed to perform again, and I got canceled.
Because we've missed each other on several occasions.
Because Mario overbooked or
Something like that,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So we missed each other. So, but my question is, so have you cleaned it up already, or is it something else that you're gonna take?
For that, obviously, and I don't know exactly how it works, but you don't automatically come out on TV when you audition. I think they take you to separate rooms, and you have to pass like preliminary rounds before you make it to the actual audition with the judges.
Yeah.
But I mean, for something like that, you have to clean it up.
No, but I was asking you, have you done it, or are you still in the process of doing it?
I guess I haven't really thought of it,
or is it something that you can kind of just do it?
It's like cussing. That's my biggest problem. I can go to a school like anywhere, any school during the day and talk about porn. Who doesn't watch porn? I mean, 13 little kids watch porn. They have access to it. If you don't put a parental lock on it or something, they're going to get their hands on it. Teenagers, I mean, that's just when they're hitting puberty, and their emotions are changing, and they're physically changing. But I can go into a room, talk about porn in a PG-13 manner, and probably not get booed off the stage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
A great example of that, and again, going back to America's Got Talent, was great Andy Huggins was on there a while back, and I would never have considered Huggins to be a clean comic, but then you watch him do the TV set, and he's doing the same jokes, but it comes through. It's just on that PG-13 line
level
where it's like, dirty old man comes, but it plays.
You just got to know your barriers. You got to know. This is where your barriers and limits, and like you stated earlier, come into play. You said it best. But for something like that, I'm obviously going for the grand prize. They ain't paying me to do it. I'm working to get that money. Obviously, if I don't get it, I don't care. I'm not. I don't have a sob story to go up there and say, I lost my mom or my dad or whatever like that. I obviously do want to come up with a good story just in case in the event. I mean, my honest to God story is I got a lot of fucking child support to pay. That's just the bottom line. I got 3 kids. I'm on point. I pay it. I just need to pay it. I need to stay on top of it.
So you can breathe.
So I can breathe. Exactly. I got 3 kids.
I feel
So they asked me, what's your story, man? I don't really, if I win the $1 million, great. What are you going to do with it? Pay my child support. That's it. Stay out of jail.
Yeah.
Just to answer the audience question, yes, I am the only one in the room who knows how to use a condom.
Yeah.
People ask me, Mark, how come...
Fuck you, Sean. But yeah.
And I'd use a condom.
People ask me, Mark, why do you work 7 days a week? And I tell them because I hate wearing condoms. That's why.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Aside from the America's Got Talent, man, you got any other projects you looking to start up on?
I'm going to continue with my broadcasting for Ed Couch, Elsa... High school, go Yellow Jackets, and football season's back.
I'm sorry. What do you mean exactly?
I'm a commentator, so I commentate.
So then you
similar.
So then you're not unemployed.
No, I guess I'm not. I do have a job. Yeah,
hey,
it's just
fucker. I was starting to feel bad and shit. I was like, well, this dude's unemployed, and
it doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm looking for full time work because it doesn't pay very much per game.
If you don't care to discuss, because we're still on air or whatever,
sure.
But you've been in radio, you're doing comedy, you have your outlets, you have America's Got Talent coming, you do your broadcasting. My question is, now that you're looking for a job, a full-time job that pays the bills, so on and so forth, is there something in particular that you're looking for? Like, do you want to go back into radio, or do you?
If an opportunity strikes, yeah, I'll do it.
No, but what is it that you want? Like, what are you looking for?
Entertainment in general. Just
so TV.
Have you looked at, or have you considered doing something like this, man? Putting together like a little. I mean, it doesn't. We're doing like 3 hours sometimes, but I mean, that's not for everybody. That's not what.
Yeah.
I guess I've just never taken the time to assemble.
Dude, because the reason that me and Sean are throwing this at you, and we didn't plan it. We just kind of
This is all Freddy right here.
No, it's not. But it's because you have the following. Like you have the following that I won't include Sean. Fuck you, Sean. That I don't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have the following. there's a shitload, because I know there's a shitload of people that know you. We know some of the same people and shit like that. So I'm looking at things from your perspective. Like, you have the following. If I had the following that you have, that's the approach that I would take. So that's why I was asking, is it something more radio, more entertainment?
I think entertainment is probably...
Would you like to help us a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you hiring me? Is this my interview? Best interview I've ever had.
It's where the wall falls away. The producers are standing back there going, yes.
Pull out the contract, man. Let's do it. Let me cut myself. Let's sign this thing in blood. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to stick around and help you guys out. And that's one thing that I'm truly blessed in saying is, I try to humble myself as best as I can.
Yeah.
And I'm really nowhere in any, I don't think in my opinion anyways, I'm in no area to be unhumble. I obviously need a job. So I think the more unhumble people are the ones that have really good jobs with a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I try to humble myself as best as I can. And in all God's honesty, as God is my witness, I'm truly blessed to say, if there's one thing that's come out of the businesses that I've done, the working in the entertainment business, is that yes, I have had the opportunity to meet a lot of people, not just artists or, things that nature, just people in general, big time clients, people, that I can associate with, that I can work with, that would, lend me a helping hand if I ever needed it, people I can just contact. And yes, I got Carlos Mencia's number too, so I can just call him and chat with him. And we've done that plenty of times, but, it's true. It's a blessing to know, to know as many people as I anticipated.
Yeah.
And it all starts in high school. And so, when you're in high school, be fucking friends with everybody, because you never know when you're going to run into them one day and they just may be above you. You're going to need their help. And if you treated them like shit, they're going to tell you to fuck off.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to make a disclaimer, all of the people that I talked to in high school and the ones I didn't talk to are in jail now. So I'm good. I don't think I fucked anything up in high school.
It really starts there, man. I was, I'm not trying to put a label on anybody now, but back then, I hung out with the gangsters, the thugs, the freaks, the cholos.
I talked to everybody too.
The jocks, that's where it starts. It starts with just talking to anybody and everybody, just like everyone, man. Yeah. Like everyone, be careful on the trust level. Don't trust anybody off the bat.
Don't vent to everybody, as they say.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that's where it starts, man. You do that, hey, you're going to be fine in the future. And just never know who you're going to run into. You never know who's going to be big. Treat everybody right. I've been screwed over so many times, and I guarantee you, if I have the opportunity, Adam Sandler, one of my favorite comedians of all time, you know what he does now? In almost every movie, if you're an Adam Sandler fan, okay, what's their production name? Is it Happy Madison Productions?
Happy Madison Productions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at all the movies they've done. I mean, this guy's an executive producer now. He's a legend. Hall of Famer. Started off as a stand-up comic. Okay. Billy Madison is one of the shittiest movies I ever saw.
I liked it.
Well, I love it now, but when I first saw it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? But the one thing, it started with that movie. I don't remember any movies prior to that. He got bullied around by some kid named O'Doyle. And in every movie, he finds just about every movie, he finds a character to play the role of O'Doyle. And he bashes the fuck out of him in every movie. And it started with Billy Madison. It went on to Click. And it was a message to send back to O'Doyle.
Where was it in Happy Gilmore?
He was not in Happy Gilmore. I only heard it, I think, in Billy Madison and Click. Oh. Click, it was O'Doyle, there was he goes back to school. He's a dumbass pretty much, and his father's rich, and he's going to try to inherit his father's company.
As he's going up through the grades, he's meeting the brothers. Starting with elementary, middle school, and then eventually high school. Yeah. And every time they would play a prank on Adam Sandler, they'd be like, O'Doyle rules. Right? And what happened at the very end? The whole O'Doyle family they're taking a trip in their station wagon, and
they step on the banana peel.
And they veer off the road, and they all die. So that's kind of Adam Sandler's way of saying, Fuck you, O'Doyle,
yeah.
for fucking me up in high school. Who made it big? I did. And guess what? I get to tell the world what a piece of shit you were. So O'Doyle doesn't rule.
Yeah.
You're fucking dead. So that's why I say, be careful who you talk to because, and how you treat people, treat them right, man. Cause you never know. One of these days, you may be that guy bashing them one day and make them feel like shit. You'll drive them off a fucking cliff.
Yeah. I think we all
even on
have...
the opposite side of that, man, I've been in a few of those conversations where it's like, look, man, you're not going to hear me talk shit about this person in public, but I know that you're about to do some shit and I'm going to tell you a story real quick.
Yeah.
And again, play it the same way. This isn't something you go around fucking, you don't air the dirty laundry, but this is, I know where you're at. I know what you're about to do. Here's a little bit of practical advice.
Yeah. Little knowledge for you.
And then you always leave the door open for like, hey man, people fucking change. People get their shit together.
And that's good. Again, that's why I say when you run into those people, if maybe they're the ones reaching out to you and calling you when you've never heard, you haven't heard from them in over 10 years, suddenly just calling you back with an apology.
Or maybe, but I was going to say, that's also not always a good thing, because sometimes when you get some of those calls is when you're up top and you're still at the bottom and they're like, hey, remember me?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you pushed me down a flight of stairs, bitch.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Exactly.
Hey, man, there is nothing funner sometimes than being able to say no with a smile on your face.
Exactly. And, I think I learned that from my dad, man. My dad, he will make you feel like the tiniest piece of dog shit in the most professional way. Yeah. It's insane, and that's probably one of the greatest things that I inherited from my dad. And I can make you feel like shit without having to tell you you're a piece of shit.
I learned that. I learned that working in telemarketing customer service. I told Sean one time, story just real quick. I was on the phone and I was in the retention department. My thing was to keep you in the business or whatever. And the metric was that I had to make 3 attempts. Or if I didn't make those 3 attempts, I would fail the call. It was a 0 or whatever. So I would always 3 attempts. And I was talking to this guy and I made him my first offer and he was pissed off. He was like, no, I don't want anything. Just, shut it off, whatever. And I was like, well, sir, if I give you this, no, I don't want it. Made my 3rd attempt. The line went silent. And I was like, but he was still there. I was looking at the phone. I was like, hello, sir. And then he said this. He was like, you must be the stupidest motherfucker to work there. That pissed me off. But I remembered, I was like, I'm on the phone. I need my job. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't really go. So then I told him, I was like, well, sir, I may be, but you called me for help. So, and then that's when I also realized I fucked up. And he was like, so what are you trying to say? And I was like, no, nothing. So let me help you is all I'm saying. Let me help you.
Yeah.
So that's when I was telling Sean, I learned to where through customer service skills, how to basically call somebody a piece of shit as well.
Oh, yeah.
In a very nice and respectful way.
Sometimes they, I think we're getting the category of bulliness. This is good. This is good talk. Cause I mean, bullying is a bad thing. It's horrible.
Not always. I was bullied and I'm just fine. I think if you don't have bullying, if you've never been bullied before in your life, you weren't properly prepared for the world. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. That's very true.
This life will fuck you in many ways.
Oh yeah,
you won't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we run into that problem a lot down here just because of the I don't know if it's tied to the whole machismo thing or whatnot. Which in the valley it happens. You grow up here, you kind of internalize that a little bit, but the whole we give leeway to bullies entirely too much to where it's like, oh yeah, he's like that. It's like, no, he's a dick.
Straight up. Yeah.
Let's label that shit correctly. Yeah.
I think one time I don't remember where it was, but like, you're a sorry, short, fucking stubby. I don't even know how you get laid. Poor excuse for a human being, motherfucker. And I'm like, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That's awesome. You just kind of had that face like, like, what'd you just do? It's like, I don't know if you know this, but I just fucked you mentally right now. And I know your whole objective was to piss me off, but instead you're pissed off because I didn't get pissed off. Therefore, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I said that all by saying thank you.
I get to walk away happy because I've identified an asshole.
Yeah. Probably going to fuck your wife. And I did.
Small victories.
Hey, one victory at a time. That's right. But man, it's been a pleasure, dude. Thank you.
Just real quick,
Yes, sir.
before we let you go, because we know that Mark has to go. Just real quick, if you want to give it to us in a nutshell, and I'm throwing this at you again because you have the experience, and like I was telling you before, we've talked and we've met before very briefly, but you've never thought of like maybe starting and running off with your own promotion company.
I actually have my own promotion company, Mayhem Promotions. I started my own. I've actually became a pretty decent promoter. I booked a couple of shows, very popular down here. They go by the name of Solido, and it was there at Paradise. I worked out a pretty good deal with Rob, the previous owner of Paradise. That was my second, I guess, big show you can say that I did there. I'll never know how much I made that night. I know I was projected to make a lot of money, but this was pretty much without any radio advertisement, anything like that. We just kind of did it on our own. I had a couple of, helping hands from, business partners, stuff like that helped me put it together and stuff like that. But I'll never know how good I did because I went to jail that night. Yeah, I've been in jail. It's unfortunate to say, but I had to go to county, not because of a misdemeanor or felony or anything. I was basically detained. It was a FTR, failure to appear, FTA.
Oh yeah.
All right, for child support. And back then, that's why I was doing those shows, was so that whatever money I can get off of that, I was going to pay my child support, get caught up. But unfortunately, they had already been on my ass, and the child supports, they're fucking they're bitches,
they will
man.
come
They'll
get
fuck
your
you up
ass if you don't fuck with child support.
Oh, and they got me right before the show started. I mean, I'm in my suit. It's Valentine's night. I went to the show single, and a week later, I came out engaged to some dude named Casper. So that was pretty awesome. Casper, wherever you are, I miss you. That's a joke. Fuck, I'm not gay. But there was a dude named Casper in there. But it was crazy too, man, because even when I was in there, people knew who I was. I mean, people knew my comedy. They remembered some of my actual jokes. Like you said that, you had somebody ask you for your autograph.
Yeah.
People in jail actually knew my comedy. And not only that, but they knew that I was on the radio. They were asking me to sign their fucking Bibles. That's insane. And I felt like it was a little blasphemous, but that's all we really had. I mean, I don't know where else to sign anything.
Yeah.
So, and I told them not to. We found something else. I think it was paper towel or whatever. I was like, I'm not going to sign a Bible, but yeah, let me, it was good treatment, man. When you're somebody, hell, sometimes even in the can, dude, you can meet some really interesting people.
Yeah.
And turns out I made some friends in there,
Dude, honestly, man, I've caught a couple, some pieces of inspiring advice from motherfuckers that have done some time. And one of them is like, you know what I mean? Like most people, well, first of all, most of the people in there are trying to handle their own shit, man.
Yeah.
And if anything, man, the fact that they know that you're doing some shit, you're actually like, you're not just some fucking jack off that got caught for doing some dumb shit. It's like, yeah, man, people are trying to put their shit together and they can kind of respect and recognize, man.
Exactly. And, I felt like when I was in there, I think that was when I was going to get arraigned. So they took us to the courthouse. I mean, I was in the whole, orange. I was in my oranges, man, all shackled up, chained up like everybody else. They don't treat you any fucking differently. It turns out the inmates are more friendly than the fucking guards.
Yeah.
The guards are dicks,
Yeah,
I happened to know one. I went to school and I was a little embarrassed. And she's like, dude, what the fuck? What'd you do? And I was like, dude, it's child support, man. It's a bitch. It's a bit. You got to pay it. You got to fucking pay it, But he was like, oh shit. Like he goes, I thought I was like, no, I'm basically being detained, But when I was in there, I was getting arraigned and I sat next to some dude who, he had a crazy charge. It was like I'm not going to say attempted murder, but it was like a aggravated assault. I mean, he made media. He was robbed like 3 fucking Stripe stores or some shit, with a gun the same night. And he was looking at me like that. And he goes, "What are you in for?" Or I asked him. We're kind of communicating, and I had asked him what he was in for. And when he told me that, I was like, "Oh fuck." And when he asked me, "What are you in for?" I'm like, "Shit, do I lie?" Or I felt like Chris Rock in the Longest Yard, where he's like, "Man, I got half a star, man. I need to shank a motherfucker, increase my reputation. I can't tell him I'm in here for fucking child support, Like, let me fucking tell him I'm in here for, I don't know, assault or some shit."
Just throw a reference out there. Anybody know Alice's Restaurant?
No.
Arlo Guthrie. It's a 25-minute song, but and they sat me down on the Group W bench, and it was murderers and rapists and father rapers, and said, "What are you in for?" And I said, "Littering," and they all moved away. And then I said, "And creating a public nuisance." And they all moved back, and we had a good time.
Oh man, I should have thrown some shit out there, like, I don't know, exposing my body parts. I don't know, something like just Norman. I should have Norman baited that shit up. Like, I'm fucking psycho, man.
Yeah.
I'm a psycho motherfucker. Don't come near me. But yeah, it's been a crazy experience, a crazy journey thus far. I'm 38. I don't mind saying it. Fuck it. I'm not that old, but I ain't that young. Kind of on my back nine already.
Yeah.
But it's been a crazy journey so far. Love everything that's happened to me. I hope to, continue to climb.
Yeah.
To the level of success.
I was gonna say, man, you still got a lot ahead of you. You still got a lot to look forward to.
Medical technology is getting better every day. We're all living to 100. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're gonna
awesome.
get there, man. We're gonna get there. So,
yeah, man. So far, we got start early, be persistent, and don't be an asshole.
There you go.
I mean, that's just solid advice. Whatever, man.
In a nutshell.
You got any contacts you want to throw out for the social media or anything like that?
Just to anyone that's listening or enjoyed this interview or my podcast or
podcast.
It's beautiful having you.
Yeah, whoever enjoyed this, man, just shout out to you guys for tuning in. Spread the word, spread the love. Let's all connect, man. That's just the bottom line. Let's all connect and don't quit. Don't quit on anything that you're doing. Go for it. I don't care how hard the shit hits you, man. You're gonna hit rock bottom. There was an old No Fear. Remember the brand No Fear? I think it was a No Fear shirt that I had. I'll always remember it to the day, man. No Fear back in the day. Well, I'm fucking old. But on the back of it, it said, sometimes you have to walk through nightmares in order to get to your dreams.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of lived by that because it's true, man. I've eaten shit.
Yeah.
After the shit was all dried up and has just been sitting there for weeks, man. And, I've been through some of the worst shit, man, but I've looked at it as, even my friends will tell you, meet my friends, they'll be like, "Oh, dude, just treat Mark right. He's been through a lot, and I'm amazed that I don't have more gray hair than I probably should. Like Mario's all fucking like grandpa'd out. We're the same age. But yeah, it's been, you can't let the stress factor get to you. You're going to be stressed. It's a natural thing to go through. But just take all that, consume it, and just fucking make it positive, man. There's a way to do it. I know there is because I've been doing it. I'm still here. If I'm still here, I mean, shit.
You're here for a reason.
You're here for a reason. And I think that's God's way of telling me, hey, you're not done yet. You got a lot left in you. You got a lot to, there's a lot of message, a lot of fight left in you to spread, throughout the world. And I'm going to allow you to deliver it.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good, transition of where I've been to, being laid off from the radio to getting back into comedy, now going for America's Got Talent. I'm excited. I'm stoked. And again, I don't care to win it. I just want to go out there and I just want to give it a shot. So that one day, like the club, when I owned it, that's a lot of people crawled under a rock when they got laid off from radio. I didn't. I went and bought a fucking club and I tried running that for 6 months. Okay. Guess what? It didn't. It did work out. I just decided to sell it. I sold it to a buddy of mine who had a different vision, and that was kind of like my avenue out. It was my way of saying, okay, I tried it, but guess what? No regrets, man. I did it. I lived it. I can honestly say I was a club owner.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before we started the show, man. You got to know when to step off on your own terms, or they'll throw you out face first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now here I am. Just found all the right tools to get to where I need to go. Let's say this is what I'm calling right here, right now, my road to America's Got Talent. It starts here with you guys. As a matter of fact, nobody knows about this, so I decided to go ahead and let it out here today for the first time.
Awesome.
Dude, when you got dates to give out, man, let us know, man. We'll fucking...
Well, and that's what I want to do. I want to assemble. I mean, obviously, you guys know these guys are comedians too. Nino, Freddy here, and Sean. I've had the pleasure of working with Sean quite a bit. He's a young comedian, definitely up and coming, and now doing great things with the podcast. And Nino, we keep missing each other, but one of these days we're gonna get sick of each other. Yeah, and be like, "Fuck, I'm tired of hearing your set." It's so funny, but fuck, I already memorized it. So I know that's going to happen, and we have a lot of shows to do together. And I tell you what, the road to America's Got Talent starts with this podcast, and I'm excited about all the shows that we're going to do from here to January 11th, 2019. I'll be in San Antonio. I don't know where yet, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be at one of the big domes, like the Joe Freeman Coliseum, or maybe even the Alamo Dome, or maybe even the AT&T. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll find out those details. I've already got my agent number and everything. So from here on out, it's all about putting shows together. I'd like to have a big going away comedy good luck show and put an awesome show. They did that for Raymond Horta years ago before you guys came in. They had a show from downtown, and he actually did try out for that for America's Got Talent. That's what's scary, because he's so good. I don't know how he didn't get through, especially, but he was also very young in his career back then too.
It goes back to what I was, and that's exactly what I want to point out to you and like to the listeners.
Yeah,
like that's exactly what I was trying to say. Just because you didn't, and that's what I was telling you, like just because you didn't make it, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes not making it is what opens the doors for you.
That's very true.
To something bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I did a joke that maybe I should start doing it again, but way back in the day, I had a joke where the punchline was kind of like when that's why, guys, when one door closes behind you, that's what the fuck happens. It just closes behind you. Move the fuck on. You know, like that's what it is. You know, and so I mean that's what I'm saying. Just because you didn't win or you didn't win Last Comic Standing, it doesn't. My point is, it doesn't mean you're a shitty comic or that you're not good enough.
Right.
It just means that the network, for whatever reason, thought that at that point you weren't good. But I mean, whatever. It doesn't mean that you can't venture off and do something else. That's why I told you the biggest thing that you can take away from that is you're going to come back with followers. You're going to come back with a bigger audience. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And sometimes that's more valuable than actually winning the fucking thing.
You're very right on that, my friend. Absolutely.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, anybody can audition for America's Got Talent. You know, it's just, are you ready? Do you feel like you're ready? I still have yet to headline. Actually, no, I'm not going to say I haven't headlined. I've actually headlined one show already, and that's just one of the things that I've learned from a lot of comics that are where they're at now, is that they say it takes a lot of time. You can't be in the comedy business for 6 months and then feel like you're ready to headline a show, because you will fail. You're gonna fuck yourself. Don't do that, man. Some of these headliners that are now headlining took them 5+ years, and I think it's even safer to say like it's more like 7+ years. So once you get to that 7 to 10 year experience in the comedy world and in the business, that's when you're probably solidly ready to start headlining your own show. That's where you start getting paid the bigger bucks. And then start falling into the different tiers of comedians, and stuff like that. So I don't think that when I headlined my first and only show, I thought I did just good enough, but I know I could have done better. But I was good enough to say, hey, I did it. I've headlined my own show. But with that, you build off that, you gain more confidence, and you say, all right, let's get back to work. What could I have done differently here to make sure that it doesn't, goes even better next time? And man, after that, it starts becoming so good. It's just a greatest feeling, when you're at that level, when you're ready to headline. Oh man, it's just the best.
Well, that goes back to the persistent thing, man. I've heard that more often than not. Is the great thing happens, enjoy it that night. Go out, have a drink with your fucking people. Celebrate, and the next day, get up like it didn't even fucking happen and keep fucking moving.
Exactly. And don't drive home. Don't get too fucked up and drive home drunk. I did that, and I got pulled over by a cop, and I mean, it was out of nowhere, and he was just like, he's like, why I pulled you over? I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't fucking see you. I don't know. He's like, I don't remember the conversation, man. But I use the word mang a lot. You know, when I drink and I'm drunk, I'm like, what the fuck you put me over for, mang? You know, like I feel like I'm Scarface and shit like that, man. Fucking Tony Montana. And he's like, why don't you get out of the car? I'm like, nah, man, I'm too fucked up. Why don't you just get in, mang? You know,
I'll scoot over, you drive.
Yeah, don't get too drunk. Then celebrate that. Uber, Lyft, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh man, if we only had that shit back when we were younger, my God.
Well,
you know?
we did, Mark. They were called taxis.
That's right. We did.
Jesus, calling a taxi back in the day was basically was volunteering to have your wallet raped.
Yeah,
That's all that was.
pretty much.
Well, at least at least somebody got fucked good. That was my wallet, but yeah, man. Good times. I'd love to be back on the show again.
That's what I was gonna end it on. I was gonna tell you when you go through all that shit, because I mean we do share this with all our guests.
Yeah.
Me and Sean let them know. You know, thank them for coming through and everything. And we want everybody. We are yet to have a bad experience on this podcast with any guest. So we've invited them all back, including yourself.
Awesome.
The only thing is that we just want to give y'all the opportunity to kind of like live, breathe, experience, and then bring that shit back to us. You know. So we'd like to give you that time. So now you got that America's Got Talent and everything.
Yeah.
Go do that, and maybe you can bring that experience back to us.
That's the plan. One comedy show at a time, and the road to AGT starts right here, and I'm stoked and excited about it. Can't wait. And next time I come on the show, we're gonna have some hella different stories, man, to talk about.
Definitely.
One more time, where can the folks connect with you, man?
Facebook, Mark Mayhem, Mayham. I don't know why the Facebook gods wouldn't let me spell it right.
Yeah.
Actually, Mark Mayhem, Mayhem is my fan page. So yeah, go like it.
I was gonna say, do you have a fan page?
Yeah, I got a fan page too. I haven't updated it. I think it still has my picture from when I was like fucking 10 or something. But I don't look that young anymore. But just like it and help me, build it. Connect with me. If you guys, want to maybe book a comedy show right here, you got 3 great comedians. We'd love to go to your venue and perform there. Road to AGT, and we'd love to promote it like that. And I want to get more shows going. So let's get it going. We'll bring our, laughter's the greatest comedians will always tell you, laughter's the best medicine in the world. So if you're having a shitty day or a shitty week, or you're going through a divorce or unwanted pregnancy or whatever, I don't give a shit. Just a fucking venereal disease. Call us and we'll go make you laugh, man. Forget your fucking problems and we'll just make you laugh.
Yep. Go ahead.
You can get in touch with me at hatfieldstandup@gmail.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter.
You can find me, Freddy G, across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You know what? My Facebook is, I need to create another one because I'm like already almost maxed out. If you want to email us, we're throwing emails out there for, I don't know, just anything. If you can't reach me on Facebook or whatever, markmayhem28@gmail.com.
Yeah, perfect.
And you can, email me and, if we want to put something together, you can get a hold of me that way too. Not going to give you my phone number though. Fuck that.
All right. Yeah, we don't need that kind of. I wouldn't give my phone number out either.
I'll say it right here. If you go to my Facebook fan page, which is at Hatfield Stand Up, the phone number's on there. You can call.
Really? You got your phone number?
I don't give a fuck.
Oh. Well, I call and he never answers, but maybe he'll answer y'all.
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah. Hey, 956-648-7525. What the hell? Why not? Just tell me you heard it. Shoot me a text or something and let us know you're listening.
I figure a lot of people don't want to give their contacts out there because it's like, oh, you don't know who's going to, get in touch with you. And it's like, no, I'd rather them get in touch with me. So again, I can identify the asshole.
Yeah. But my address is no.
Okay, now you're going too far.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. If you want to reach out to us specifically about the podcast, you can get in touch with us at bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. You can find Bouncing Brains on YouTube. We will be up shortly on Facebook. We're working on that. What else? Oh, audio version of the podcast you can find at shoutengine.com/bouncingbrains.
And soon on Stitcher and Apple. You don't want me to say that? Why? I already said it. Soon we will be on Stitcher. And
let them know
Apple.
we're coming.
As soon as Sean can figure that shit out.
Trying to figure out who to bribe.
You can page me, my beeper.
Hey, the beepers are making a comeback.
Oh, they are. Yeah. My favorite word on that was boobless, upside down.
Nice. Shout out to Texas Instruments.
Right.
All right.
Bringing beepers back.
All right. Guys, this was beautiful.
All right. And until next time, y'all have a very nice day and keep it tight.
Peace.